Let's do it, boys.
Hello everyone, how's it going? And welcome back to the Kill Connor Club podcast, episode 96. I'm one of your hosts, James, and I'm joined, as always, by Tyler.
As always, how's it going, my friend?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm very excited for this podcast, as always.
Great, fantastic. And today we're joined by another one of the four pillars, Ethan, or Fizhy. How's it going?
Or Big Pillar, apparently.
Yes, the Big Pillar.
Both Tyler and George called me that within a week, which was weird, and I will forever remember it. But yeah, I'm doing all right. Thank you very much. So yeah, thank you for having me on again. This is my umpteenth appearance.
Umpteenth, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. We're in the teens now, but yeah. How are you two?
Yeah, I'm very good.
Pretty good. Yeah.
I'm good.
Standard procedure then.
Yeah, standard procedure. I mean, you're one of the four pillars, and as much as the Kill Connor Club, again, is obviously James and my podcast, if, you and George, you're the four pillars. So you're one of us. You're one of our brothers. So it is what it is.
Oh, I walk the line between the Reddit hating me. This is great.
Well, the Reddit just hate James and I. Well, they hate James and me by association. So it's just, at least you walk the line. You have some good faith within the. I don't know if you say nice or dumb. A bit of both. It's again, they walk the line a bit. Really nice people and dumb people.
I just have a habit of getting the benefit of the doubt all the time. It's like a luck thing. Everyone always gives me the benefit of the doubt.
I think it's partially down to me though, because I'm. Well, I mean, I don't think I'm that bad, but because everyone thinks I'm so bad, everyone's like,
You used to be bad.
Those other ones are all right. They're fine. Yeah, I did used to be bad.
Yeah.
Look, I'm fine now. I'm a lovely person.
Yeah, but I mean,
if anything, I'm worse than you now. So you're fine
Maybe.
now. It's just more of like your reputation.
I was on about in general, like in life, I'm always given the benefit of the doubt, even when I don't deserve it. Like, I could probably commit murder and go down for manslaughter.
I was about to say, I feel like people just like me when they shouldn't. I'm like, why do people just like me in general for literally no reason? It doesn't make any sense. I'm like, they're like, oh, you did that and they did that, but I hate them, but I don't hate you. I'm like, why is that? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, you could do the exact same thing as someone else who would get absolutely pelted for it. And I'd be like, he's all right, though. It's fine. That's the exact thing that happens to me. It's like, I was doing the exact same thing. What are you doing? What are these double standards? Get out of my face.
It's because you're a disgusting straight cis white male. That's what it is.
And they like me for that.
Yeah,
okay.
That's all it is. Speaking of discussing cis white males, I'd like to thank the great people over at patreon.com/ as always, helping power this podcast. Of course, we have our Patreon producers, our lovely Patreon producers. That's King Richard III, Ikraik, Seth, and Josh Devillier. But we also have the other beautiful people we'd like to thank over on patreon.com/ as always. So if you like this podcast and you want to hear more, you can head over to there and just, if you pledge $1 a month, you can get exclusive access to the Kill Connor Clubhouse podcast. Every week, the Kill Connor Club podcast isn't on, as well as a week's early access to the Cinema Room podcast, where we last week released, or this week, or today we're releasing, I was about to say last week, we recorded last week. Today we're releasing, at the time this podcast is coming out, Batman, The Dark Knight, the Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight film episode of the Cinema Room, which will come out for free to everyone, iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and YouTube next week, but you get a week's early access for just $1 a month over on patreon.com/ as always. So to thank a few of the sweet vintage lads over there, we have King Richard III, Ikraik, Seth, Ballsack47, Josh Devillier, Damian, Billy the Team Tynamite Captain Robertson, Tman or Travis, Casey Wood, Tony the Tarbiter's Pasty, Denis, Adam Sundling, Alfie Rowsell, Jamie the Gamer, Smexy Dork, Lumistrad, Mario 5380, Hook Still Holds Up, Viridian, Pink Flame 313, Arun Win, Ollie The Dane, Fat Fuck Cuck, Nawaf M, Brendan or BQ Overlord, Ravjai, Julie, Prudhvi Muvva, Oscar, Benedict Parker Returns, James and Lad, Connor Durose Bully in the Alley, Zahia, Jean, Zeke Collins, Son of a Bitch, Ogeaidogo, Lauren, Dammit Glenn, Furious Coco, the ACMJS, Delta R. Rodriguez, Kyle, Estros, Kyle Marvel, Marcus Blackburn, Emil Catborg, Joshua Mora, David Bindis, Ginkgo Swag, Bo Damon, Kima Sabe, Gamer, Yazen, Joe the 60 Boy Smith, Elster 91, Joe aka Founded Scarab, H-Parts 12, I Got Lumbago, The Real Jaw Raptor, Omar Gurasagi, Alfie Rodbert, Brian Ford, Shields, a good friend over here, Ethan, Fishy,
Hello.
Andrew Martinez, how's it going, mate? Lewis,
going
the
great.
Gamer McLean. Thanks, you sweet vintage lads, for helping me out this podcast. That felt like longer, but it might be because I'm also a little intoxicated
You see,
by our other sponsor, Proper 12 Irish Whiskey by Conor McGregor.
you see, right. Even if I wasn't intoxicated reading that list, I think I'd probably have a stroke about like a quarter of the way through, because my mind does not move that fast. I can do everything else, but when it comes to reading, my mind starts to go, right, let's stumble a bit. Let's be the jankiest bastard in the world. And it's like, it's not even like dyslexia or anything. I just read it and the different words come out my mouth. I could read something very simple, like someone say, "Hi, how you doing?" and it would just translate to something really weird. Like, I don't know why, but the other day, that exact thing popped up in a stream. I think it was a couple weeks ago now. And instead of seeing the "Hi, how are you doing?" in my mind, I read out something completely different. And I was like, Jesus Christ, my reading is appalling. Because how did I get from that to "old people must die"? This is just how. I mean, I agree, but how?
It's what a world we live in. What
Yeah.
a fucking world we live in.
What a world I live in. I live in my own world.
That's true. Oh god.
Oh, that's so hilarious.
Yeah.
But it's crazy to think how long that list is. I'm like, that's not like all our patrons. That's just $5 plus patrons.
Imagine if we read out everyone.
Oh god, thank God we didn't make that decision early on. Thank God we like $5 will read a name. There'll be like 5 people on the list, not 60 which are on there right now. It's ridiculous. I love it.
It's great.
But yeah, I am. I had a family dinner. I've had a lot of weird shit going on this week. It's been a weird week.
Weird?
But it's been fucking weird. I don't really want to talk about weird in the sense of like lots of stuff. Not for me. I'm very happy. I've got a lot going on that is fantastic in my life, but not everyone in my life does. So there's been just a lot of talk going on in my family, but had a good discussion with my parents and my brother tonight, and I've been drinking a lot of Proper 12 tonight. Conor McGregor's whiskey, and I'm quite drunk, but I was almost purposely doing so. I didn't mean to get quite this drunk, but I thought this is going to be a good podcast. It's been at least a year since I've been drunk on a podcast. At least a year.
That's
but
crazy.
back in the day,
It used to be every episode.
I used to drink like at least like a whole 6-pack of beer in an episode.
I remember that.
See?
The one where we did the story about the lollies.
And they smell like Play-Doh.
Yeah.
Well, hang on.
And the bird calendar.
The bird calendar.
This is awfully
This
specific
podcast was
information
so
you're remembering
weird.
here.
This podcast used to be so weird.
Dude, it was the best though. It still is the best, but like also it was always the best.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah. Clubhouse is more like that now. So if you're looking for bird calendars and Play-Doh lollies, go pledge us $1 over on Patreon. You get Clubhouse. It's very similar to that nonsense.
You see, I keep reacting to what you're saying with like a really puzzled face, and then I remember that nobody can see my expression, so I just have to be confused in silence. But Play-Doh smelling lollies—that sounds like something that I'd be interested in. To be honest with you, it'd be like, who invented this? Who was the scientist who made this? I'm gonna go and I'm going to give him a hug, and then strap him to a rocket and send him to the fucking moon because get him off of this fucking planet now. It would just be great.
Dude. It was just some old lady I met at a tram stop. I was heading to work
What? A tram stop? You just found some old lady.
Dude, I lived in Melbourne for 3 years and I didn't own a car when I was there. I caught public transport everywhere. Half my stories are random cunts I met on public transport. And there's this old lady who's obviously mentally disabled in some way, like just clear, like obviously has issues. And she had a black bag, like duffel bag, and she opened it up saying, "Do you want this?" And I was like, excuse me. And then she opened it and it's like full of 16 bird calendars and a bunch of bags of like lollies, but there's no brand on it. It was just like lollipops in bags. They were sealed. And she gave them to me and I'm like, should I eat them, guys? And I was smelling it on the podcast and it smelled like Play-Doh. And I'm like, maybe I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a good idea. If it smells like Play-Doh, there's a 99% chance that it's just Play-Doh. And if that's the case, then you don't want to be sticking that in your mouth.
There's an alternate reality somewhere out there where Tyler did eat the lollies on the stream and died.
And died.
Yeah.
And died.
You know how I said this thing smells like Play-Doh? Well, it tastes like it too.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, like when it smelled, I was like, I was really determined to eat. I have photos, like from back then. I used to take because I used to take selfies while doing podcasts, and I used to tweet them out. I'm sure I tweeted it out, but
you did, yeah.
I bet I can find it back in. It would have been 2016 or 2015, because those were when I was living in Hawthorne at the time in Melbourne, in Eastern Melbourne. What a fucking time that's so bizarre to think back to then. Like, now I'm living in like the town I grew up in, and yeah, it's so weird. But there was so much that went on during those podcasts. I used to take selfies every week of just like random shit that went on. But the bird calendar lady, I can't remember whether that was 2015 or 2016, but it was one of those 2 years. And I used to. What was the year I took a selfie of like my fingers, and I had a beer bottle on like each finger.
That was I feel like that was either 2016 or it was a 2015 one when Joe
dude, I'm
wasn't
gonna
on.
send this straight. I'm gonna send
Was
this
this around the time?
So fucking hilarious.
Was this around the time where you tweeted a picture of all your Assassin's Creed merch, which was just you flipping the rod at the camera? Because that was an amazing picture, and I remember it to this day.
Flipping my rod at the yeah. I don't remember.
Not
when
your
that
actual
was.
rod, the rod.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying.
If it was your actual rod, I think we'd all have problems.
There's the
I
picture.
don't think I'd still be making podcasts. I just sent James one of the pictures to me on
That's not the. I don't think that's the one you posted. I think there was a different one.
That's not the Play-Doh one, but that's just like one of the photos I posted of like me with I had a beer bottle in each finger, and I took a selfie. Yeah, put it up on the screen if you.
I'm gonna
find. I reckon it was like December 2015. That's where in my head, what I've got of like the lollipops. I've got a picture of me that I took of like my facial expressions of you and Asim talking about something weird, but I don't remember what you guys were talking about.
Microwaving semen.
Microwaving.
Microwaving.
Episode 12 was that or 13? I don't remember. 14.
It was episode
14.
No, it was early. Episode 12 was the last episode of 2015, and that was Luma. Or that was episode 11.
Yeah. 12 was Asim.
How do you remember this stuff?
Well, it's my podcast, and I kind of remember.
It was one of the last ones of 2015. It was like before we started doing it every Sunday. Or was it when we were just getting into doing it every Sunday?
Because we only did it every Sunday in 2016.
Yeah, but I think towards the end of 2015 we decided to sort of make it a bi-weekly thing, and that's when we had Luma on, and then we did the one with Asim, and then the year sort of just ended.
Yeah.
And we were like, we'll make it a thing next year.
On my phone camera roll back then, like it's a lot. I've got a lot of selfies from the podcast, like in that old apartment I used to live in, and one of them's just like before a podcast. I took a picture of like I got like 2 pizzas and a 6-pack of Peroni, and I was like, I can't wait for the Kilconnor Club.
Oh, that was great. The good old days.
And now you're just pissed on whiskey, and here we are. Chatting shit.
Oh my god, Billy just retweeted it. I'm gonna retweet it. Billy just retweeted on Twitter. He found the tweet of lollybag I got from stranger on the street back in 2015 in September 2015.
God,
yes, the lollies.
Look how fat I was. Look how chubby I was.
That's so funny. That is so funny. I'll give that a retweet. There you go.
Oh my god,
that's a beautiful time.
Billy, you were a fucking Billy, the Team Tynamite captain. He fucking delivers. I don't know how he fucking found that.
Oh, there's another one. He did the other one. My face when Lasers and Super Rebel are talking about animals.
You're talking about microwaving.
You just look
semen.
slightly confused. These are great.
Oh my god. If you haven't liked the podcast yet, by the way, on YouTube, like it right now as you're listening to the live stream. That's so funny. It's so good to reminisce about this sort of stuff.
Yeah, they were great. I forgot half of this even happened. It feels like a different podcast. It's weird.
We've
done so many of these.
Reality.
It's been James. It's almost been 5 years, my friend. It's almost been 5 years.
So long. That is ridiculous.
It's a long time.
That is far too long for it to be, considering this was an accident that we started.
You say it was an accident, but for the most part, you fully intended to wind up here.
I was thinking about this today. I fully intended this. I envisioned this. James, I just forced into. Yeah, it was my master plan. James kind of got forced into everything. Like he just happened to be there, and he's like regretted it. You know what I mean? Like James is just the guy that I'm like, I had this chemistry with. We did one live stream, and I'm like, you're sorry, bro. You're sucked in for the next 5 years. At least
This is a
5
contract.
Joe got out. I didn't. I'm still here, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well,
there is a
you
question.
mean the Welsh dude that like would dress up as a zombie as a job? Yeah, of course he got out. He also liked to bang his mates in the bathroom at the footy club.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Hashtag buddy boys.
Good old the gaming sheep up to all kinds of nonsense back in those bathrooms. Jesus Christ. Remind me to not go to a bathroom where he is, because I just want to fucking avoid that shit. Anyways, it does appear as if
No, it's consensual.
It's all
No, but
consensual.
you don't
it's all-
understand. Don't understand, okay? It's not that he's a rapist, it's that I don't really want to bear witness to whatever
Yeah,
the
that's
fuck's
fair.
going on in that bathroom.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, that makes
Anyways, what I was gonna say is, so you've got like a contract where James has been sucked into it. So have you got like a piece of paper and a gun waiting somewhere to renew it? Is that what you're gonna come over to the UK to do? Is just
sense.
sign the
It's called
fucking
patreon.com/as always, and I control all the money. So
yeah.
oh, that's fucking funny. Oh god. I shouldn't be talking about this, but I'm drunk, so I'm just kind of like saying a lot of shit right now.
I'm just reading.
Uh,
I just read a message in the chat, and it was someone calling me retarded, spelling retarded wrong. So we're off to a great start. if you want me to read the message, it goes like I said. Tyler is the dad, which is true. James is the son. George is the brother, and Ethan is the retarded stepbrother.
Okay.
Now,
First of all, can we just break that down? I love how someone says Tyler's the dad, James is the brother. Oh no, James is the son,
I'm
and
the
then
son.
George is the brother. So what you're saying is James and George are the son. Like one's not the son, and then the other's the brother, but not the son. You know what
unless
I mean?
it's a
Like,
half brother, in which case we're all going to be very disappointed. But yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
And how is Ethan the stepbrother?
How is he the
a
stepbrother? How's he
stepbrother
the
too?
retard-
What? I'm so
How's he
confused.
retarded?
I don't know. Where baffled, man. Like, I don't really know what this everyone has to be related things about, and I also don't trust somebody who can't even spell retarded right when describing somebody. So,
Yeah. Well, look, the 4 pillars. It's a fucking beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I'm eternally grateful to be a part of this whole experience, as bizarre as it is. As much as it's just this weird thing I barely think's real.
same.
I do, because like this is such a huge part of my life, but at the same time, it's not even a real part of my life. Like I have I have 2 jobs, friends and stuff that like look at my YouTube stuff and they're like, dude, I don't even understand what that is that you do, and I'm like, honestly, I don't, and I've been doing it for 7 years.
You know,
it is so bizarre, but I'm so grateful and humbled every day that I can do it. But it barely makes sense that I get to do it. It's weird.
No. You see, when people ask what my job is currently, I'm always stuck for how to explain it. Like, if I was talking to somebody who understood what it was, it's easy to explain. But if they don't, say like, I had this conversation with my driving instructor most recently. That was one where I was like, right, well, fucking hell, I don't want to tell you, do I really? Because then you might think I'm a man-child, which explains the beard.
Yeah, it's
the
super
hair.
difficult to do. Like when it comes up in conversation with people that won't get it.
what-
It's like, do I say like, because obviously like people that are that are a bit older, they might have kids. They're gonna know what what a YouTuber is. But if you say that, it just
at the
sounds
same time-
fucking dumb. It doesn't really convey the work and what you put into it. And
I like to dress it up a bit. I like to go, well, essentially, I get paid to take the piss out of people, things, and more things on the internet, all while playing computer games, which means that when it comes to my actual downtime, I like to, be as far away from my computer as humanly possible. I honestly do. It's true as well.
Yeah. Oh God, same
Yeah.
here.
I
don't
can't
really
game
play
outside what
games
I do.
anymore. I
No,
can't
me
remember the
neither.
last time I
Neither do
played.
I.
I can't remember the last time I played a game.
I mean,
Like Kingdom Hearts 3 was the last game I played that was for me,
yeah,
and then everything else has been for YouTube.
I've
But
spent-
even still, like I said this to James when I finished Kingdom Hearts 3, I said, I'm gonna be real with you. I kind of was joking, but it's almost true as the sense of Kingdom Hearts 3 was the last game I wanted to play. And I'm kind of like, done.
My life
I'm
is
I'm kind of done.
You're
I
done
don't
with
play.
every game. Yeah.
I don't
If
need to
I-
play a game ever again unless
Yeah.
it's to do a video on YouTube. Unless it's I need to play this because I need to talk about it on a podcast or I need to make a video. I just don't need to play it because Kingdom Hearts 3 was the end. My story's over.
Yeah.
I've done it all.
It's done.
Tyler's life is over.
I've done it. I've done everything.
You
It's
could
all
die a
over.
happy man, essentially.
I can die. I can die happy, man. That's it.
Although I reckon there's so much that you're gonna want to do that isn't gaming that you can Tynamite can die a happy death, but the rest of it not so much. Just a happy time.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah,
But
well,
speaking of the 4 pillars, though, we have been organising a community event that's coming up.
yeah.
Not so much
in
organising,
August.
more talking
Yeah, sure,
about
we're-
it, and then
we're
well-
talking about it. We're in the early stages. We've got some dates. We've got some times. We've got things like that.
Have you got
know,
dates? Why am I not in the loop? What's going on?
What do you mean?
yeah. To be fair,
booked
I didn't
my
have dates.
flights,
I didn't have
bro.
dates until just
I
recently because I
fucking
messaged
told
you
this.
because I was like,
I
I don't.
told you my dates when I booked
You
the
said
flights.
no,
bro.
no,
You
no,
just
no,
didn't
no,
write
no,
them
no. You
down.
didn't. You didn't. You said beginning of August. That's what you said. Like you said, like first 2 weeks of August.
No,
But I didn't have
no.
exact dates because I never.
What do you mean? What's the
never
first
asked.
2 weeks of August, bro? The actual dates.
But also, it's not the first 2 weeks of August, is it? Because it's also partly the end of July.
Oh, I'm so sorry. The 28th of July.
Well,
is
okay,
also
okay. Well,
July.
next time I'll make that assumption. I'll just turn up to the airport on the 1st of August.
To the guy who said that Tyler was the dad and James is the son, you sure they're not just like a married couple?
I do feel like James and I are married. We're like a gay married couple.
yeah,
Elmer
them-
can fuck off, first of all, and James and I are just,
you've
a
got
married
like
couple.
Haribo rings and
That's
things
okay.
and everything, so it's perfect.
Oh, it's great. Yeah. Well, look, I'm traveling to America first, LA, New York, but on the 28th of July, I fly from New York to London, and then I'm in London until the 10th or 11th of August.
Oh
So
wow!
it's 2 weeks in the UK.
That's
So
a
yeah,
cracking
during
time.
that period, we haven't got an exact date, but we're in the early stages. Within that 2 weeks, we'll do a community event. I'm
Yeah.
fucking psyched for it. Like, it's gonna be terrific.
Yeah.
What are we gonna? So what's the in terms of the early talks we've had? Are we booking out some sort of like room somewhere, like whether it be like a function room or like a?
I think we'll have to be honest with you,
Yeah, I think that makes
because
sense.
if we were to like say let's all meet here at this really public place, we won't be making it obvious who we are exactly. Because let's face it, we're not exactly going to be wearing our own merchandise, are we? And we're not.
No,
gonna
I
be
mean, I probably will, but yeah.
I mean,
I'll wear a
depends.
Catchup
If we have like
t-shirt.
official
Why
4
not?
Pillars merch, it'll be great. But if we didn't, it would be kind of hard to tell which is which, and it will just get lost in this massive crowd of people that is this clusterfuck that people call London.
Oh, I'll dress
So-
like my Kill Connor Club character. I'll wear the green
Can you-
t-shirt, or maybe it's
can
a
you
shirt. I
bring
don't know, like a
can you
full
bring this-
long sleeve one. I don't know.
Can you
And then
bring the
jacket.
sword and the horse mask as well? Because actually, that would be illegal, wouldn't it?
It would be
Walking
illegal.
around
It
with a
would
horse
be
master
actually
sword,
against the law. It would be
massive
against the
crowd.
law.
Yeah, in the middle of London. Oh god, yeah. We don't want to freak
No.
everyone out.
Nah, you walk 10 feet down the road and get fucking kneecapped. It would be.
Yeah, look.
Yeah.
Is
Nah,
yeah,
probably do it.
I think the best thing to do, especially if the meetup's going to be in London, which makes the most sense because it's it's probably a good
I
location
mean,
for everybody.
would you get kneecapped if you were carrying that keyblade? Now.
Maybe.
Nah, probably
Maybe.
not. Nah.
I mean,
I
it's
mean,
still
just for being a
fucked up, like,
fucking nerd, you would, but not for like the weapon you're carrying. Yeah, yeah.
Just
in
for being
London.
an absolute retard carrying around a giant fucking key.
And this is where the magic of London comes into play, because nobody gives a fuck unless they want to rob you. Which
Yeah.
they won't do if you're carrying a massive fucking key, because that's probably going to weigh a bit, isn't it? So
That is, yeah,
lean
that's
back.
like,
True.
yeah, let's stay away from that guy. He's probably on meth or something. You know what I mean? Like, he's definitely not
Yeah.
all there.
you're going to have to cross-eyed way through town. It'll be fucking beautiful.
I know the fourth the other pillar, the fourth pillar that isn't here today,
Who?
George. He knows that. Yeah, who exactly? He knows this. By the way, happy birthday, George. Very happy for you. 18. He's a fucking adult now. I love it. But he knows this is happening, doesn't he? Like, he's gonna be there.
Yeah, I think so.
He has to be.
Uh,
Okay, James, this is why I wanted to check on this. You say you think so. Does he know or does he not know?
We
Yeah,
have,
it's a yes or
I've
no.
mentioned it. I mean, it's come up a couple of times, like in the past. But like, I assume he knows in the same way everyone else knows. But I mean, as soon as we've like, figured it out, I'll tell him. I won't ask him. I'll tell him.
Like, it won't be a public place. We'll definitely have a venue, and we'll talk.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We'll talk about this in like a group chat of like, oh, we'll have to, obviously, if there's a venue and like we book whether it be like a function room at a restaurant or a place or wherever like that has a function room. So there's a restaurant bar. By the way, also if you're underage and you need to bring your parents, bring your fucking parents. Like, we're not weird. You can bring your parents.
I am. I'm very weird. Be careful.
Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, I'll probably get along better with you. I'll probably get along better with your parents anyway, to be fair.
You can talk to all of you as parents.
And by the way, and I know we're laughing about that, joking about that, would happen. 100% it will exactly be what happens. I will just end up talking to all the parents.
It'd be great. That'd be great.
But seriously,
bring their grandparents.
If you're underage, please bring parental supervision for the love of God. Yeah, we're not.
I mean, it depends how underage we're talking though. Like,
if you're 17, I mean, it's within the confines of the law, bring parental supervision. Wherever needed, please, for the love of God.
Yeah. Use common sense, I guess. Yeah.
Use common sense, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And your parents are welcome. I'll become their best friend. It'll be great. They'll meet a lovely, charming Australian dad. It'll be great.
I'm porno twist at the beginning of Crocodile Dundee or something. Because,
exactly. I won't know what's going on. I'll be like, I've come back to the homeland where my fucking ancestors were shipped off as prisoners. Like it'll be that moment. It'll be weird. I don't know. I'm so excited for this whole trip.
It will be quite fun until it comes to the actual event.
Well, the event itself, like I remember, I think you said, Ethan, you're like, oh, we'll have to book it out and split the payment of like the place. I'm like, well,
that's not the problem.
$3,500 on flights to get there, so I feel like I've paid my share.
That's the thing. It's going to be me and Ethan because George is broke, so it's me and Ethan paying for it.
He can't even afford Kingdom Hearts 3. He can't even afford Kingdom Hearts 3, let alone a payment. It'll be, it'll be Ethan and James to pay for this, but also I've paid so much money to get there. I feel like I've paid enough.
Yeah,
I personally feel like and I get it. I should be the one to fly over because 3 of you live in the same country. One of us doesn't.
We'll fly over to Australia at some point, but there won't be a community meetup over there because I don't imagine.
Speak for yourself. I don't know whether I'm setting foot in Australia in my life.
There are two ways that this can happen. Right, okay. You either come over willingly, or I stuff you in a bag because you're that small, and I drag you over there, and I somehow smuggle you through customs. It will be quite difficult, but I'll do it, and you will wake up one day and you'll just be in Australia and be like, what the fuck?
That would be the most terrifying experience
I'm a contortionist now. It'll just be weird. I'll even wake you up with a fake spider. No, that'll be cruel. I don't want to do that.
I would die. Of shock. Pure shock.
I'll remove 2 of its legs and make it look more like an ant.
Can I ask you a question, James? Can I ask you a genuine question?
No. Yeah, you can.
Yeah. And I've decided that this is my retarded test.
Right.
If you're a dumb person or not a dumb person.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you 2 questions. First question, Are you afraid of spiders, James?
Yes.
James, are you afraid of snakes?
Yes, but in a different way.
Okay, you're not retarded. No, that's not what I asked. Are you afraid of snakes?
Yes. Yeah.
Not retarded. This is my thing here, James. This is my thing. To everybody. If you tell me that you're afraid of spiders, totally fair. Very rational to be scared of things. It's called survival instincts. It's an evolutionary thing that we have in our DNA. But if you tell me you're afraid of spiders and then say, snakes? Nothing. That's nothing. I love snakes. I'll get a pet snake. I'll pet it. No problem at all. That's my retard test. You're a retard.
Yeah,
you are a dumb human being.
I can't imagine.
You can't be afraid of something you could accidentally kill while clapping. You know what I mean? If I slapped a table like this, you can hear that. I slapped that. Every spider on Earth is dead. Every single one of them is dead. There's not a spider on Earth. No, there is not a spider on Earth all these big massive spiders, they're not real. It's bullshit.
Uh,
Every spider on Earth would be dead by that.
You know,
now, if you tell I don't think there is a snake on Earth that would be dead from that. So if you're like, I'm scared of spiders, yet giving a round of applause and a spider like dangles down past your hand and you're just giving a round of applause, it's now dead. There is no snake that would die from that. They would avoid it. They would then bite your wrist and you're dead. You can't tell me you're afraid of spiders and then be like, snakes, no problem. You're retard. That doesn't make any sense. You're retard. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, look, I think the thing with spiders is the reason I'm scared of them isn't necessarily because they could kill me or because they're dangerous. I just don't like it's a phobia. Like, it's not rational, the reason I'm scared of them. I'm also scared of dying by obviously the poisonous ones, but like, if I see a snake on TV, that wouldn't freak me out. But if I see a spider on TV, it would. Like, I can't look at it. Like,
I can see that.
It's
Spiders
just
a
that's the
subconscious
difference between a fear and a phobia. That's the difference.
Yeah.
If you have a phobia of something, that's one thing. But I'm saying if you're just like afraid, you don't want to deal with spiders, and you're like, no, I'm totally fine with snakes. You're an idiot.
No, but I can be around a snake though. Like, the same way I can't be around a lion. Like, that would.
Yes, of course.
I'd be like,
of course.
I would get a snake on my birth any day. They are scary, fast, and all kinds of nasty. The thing that baffled me the most about your big rant there, Tyler, by the way, was how you worded that you could bang your table like that and all spiders in the world will be dead. You worded it as if you just committed spider genocide.
Yeah, and every spider is dead. Please, Tyler, do it again. Make doubly sure. Get rid of them all.
I just mean, like, if like any spider individually was in front of me, it's now dead by that.
What if there were 70?
Yeah, different story. We're talking about a different story. I'm talking about one-on-one, any spider on Earth, now dead. It's now dead.
What if there were 2?
If there were 2, now dead. You know what I mean?
7.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, 7. Now dead. No.
Are you tapping with your fingers?
Yeah, no, with my hands, but like the tip of my hands.
What about 7 tarantulas?
For all we know, he could be doing it with his forehead because he's quite drunk. So that would be amazing.
No, I'm not. Okay, not that drunk. But by the way, speaking of, this episode of Kill Connor Club is brought to you by Proper 12 Irish Whiskey.
No, it's not!
Yes, it is!
That is a false sponsorship.
I'm determined to get that sponsor. Okay, technically...
But if you keep doing it, they won't give it to us ever because we're doing it for free.
Yeah, okay, no, fair enough. Look, it's technically not brought to you by that. Legally speaking, this podcast isn't brought to you by Proper 12 Irish Whiskey. But also... drink Proper 12 Irish Whiskey because it's fucking delicious. And I was shocked at how delicious it was. I was thinking to myself, Conor McGregor makes a whiskey, I'm buying it, but it's probably going to be average. I bought it, I drank it. It is tremendously delicious.
Tastes like
Irish, though.
It's good.
Like their alcohol.
I've had half a bottle tonight. It's sitting behind me now. I'm looking at that fucking bottle. It's beautiful. It's sold out in Australia. It's sold out in Australia already, so I'm gonna have to order my second bottle. It's ridiculous, but yeah.
Oh, wow.
Maybe I'll get some. And we can drink it together. On the podcast, and
you have to be drinking Proper 12.
Yeah, every
one
time.
Day we get sponsored.
Even when we do it at 11 a.m.
Like, they don't have to pay us money. They just have to send us bottles of Proper 12.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Free alcohol for life by Conor McGregor. It'd be beautiful.
We just have to talk about it for a little bit. That'd be great.
To
be fair, we should work on getting some sponsorship things for podcasts, just to give a little ad.
Try it all, do we?
Just talk about something. You get a lot of them. I always hear people doing these little sponsorship things. I'm like, we could do those. We'd be good at those. We talk. That'd be great.
we do talk. That's true. We do talk.
We can say things that companies tell us to say, and then get paid for that. I'd love it. That'd be amazing. Maybe I'll look into that. Who knows?
Oh god.
I do quite enjoy, however, how whenever I'm on this podcast, you're always like talking like mini admin, like while on air. It is quite fascinating to experience. I'm like, do they even realize they're live? They're gonna start disclosing their passwords.
Yeah, we do this all the time. This happens every time. I remember back in remember that time we did a whole stream where I was designing t-shirts. It was like episode 5.
Oh my
the
God,
whole thing was me designing Kill Connor t-shirts.
It was like we were just in a private Skype chat. We're just like, let's just live stream it.
Yeah, that's so dumb. That was what the podcast was.
That sounds like something I would.
Oh
listen
my
to.
god, guys.
Yes.
Uber Central's here. Our friend Brett is here.
Oh, he's in the chat.
And I did have this. I did have this written on the list here. I did want to say that the fifth pillar, our good friend, one of our best friends, Brett or Uber Central, had a surgery this past week, and we love you, Brett. Our thoughts are with you. We hope you're recovering well, man. I fucking love you, dude. So I'm so happy you're here.
And he swung by from the hospital, so
he's still in the hospital. He says in the chat, dude, we fucking love you, man. So happy to hear from you.
Yeah. Get well
so
soon,
if everyone in the community, if everyone in the community, send him the love.
Yeah, go ahead, do that on Twitter. Go listen to the previous episode of the Kill Connor Club where we had Brett on, and the last cinema room as well. If you want to hear from Brett, because he tells us a little bit about the surgery and stuff like that on the last episode of the podcast. So there's that there. But be sure to send him love over on Twitter. Everyone has been. It's been great. There's been some overwhelming support. It's great. I love this community. Everyone's so supportive. It's great stuff.
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. I'm getting emotional right now, James. I don't know what to do.
I think
Just
it's
drink your whiskey, Tyler.
I'm back. Okay, all right. Obviously, with a proper 12 Irish whiskey brought to you. Brought to you by...
It's just going to segue into every conversation. You can just hear Tyler in the background go, proper 12 Irish whiskey. It'll be brilliant. We'll be talking about whatever's next on the list. I'm looking at the title. The Game of Thrones writers with the Old Republic trilogy, blah, yada, yada. Proper 12 Irish whiskey.
Proper 12 Irish whiskey. Brought to you by... It's funny because in the background of my last video I released, I always have a koala sitting on the top of my bed, and no one has ever said a word about it in the comments. But I put Proper 12 bottle next to it, and people are commenting, "Oh, Proper 12 in the background." I'm like, no one's ever said anything about Carlos. No one's ever said a word about Carlos.
Carlos, is that his
Is that
name?
what you've named your koala?
He's a Wog koala. He's a Greek koala. He's Carlos the koala. Yeah, it's Carlos.
Oh, nice.
I got him for. We did a live stream at when I was at university it was my last year of uni actually, and we did this like game show thing, and I was like a bogan redneck Aussie character, like hosting a game show. So I was like wearing an Australian flag as a cape, had like a mullet wig on. And I was just wearing like what are they called in other countries? Sandals or whatever, like on stage, and board shorts, like togs. Fucking, what do you call them in other countries? What are they called? What are they called? Bathers? That's what you call them in other countries. We call them togs or.
What you're talking about?
Yeah, no clue.
What do you wear to the beach? Like if you wear like, what do you wear in like, if you go on the what do you wear? Bathers?
Shorts?
Is that what you call them?
It's not my kind of place, to be honest with you. The beach.
Yeah, you don't really go to the beach
No, well,
I
you
also
see
don't go to the beach ever.
You're never further than 60 miles away from a beach or whatever, are you, in the UK?
If you swim in a pool, what would you be wearing? What do you call
trunks?
Yeah, trunks. Yeah.
Trunks. Yeah. Okay. So like, I think they're bathers in like other countries, but in Australia we call them togs, or board shorts. Like would be the shorts. Trunks would be like. There's Speedos, which are like the underwear, weird as fuck if you wear Speedos.
Yeah, but that's
super
the only thing
fucking
you can swim in Europe in most places. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's
no,
weird.
for sure. But we call them togs. But yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah, that's what I wore on stage. And I had like a mascot, which was just like a little koala I bought from like an Australian souvenir shop. But I called him Carlos. And for whatever reason, for the last 2 years, I've kept him with me, and he sleeps like above my bed. So he's now my mascot, Carlos the koala.
He essentially watches you while you sleep.
He does watch me, but I love Carlos, and he's now got a friend, a bottle of Proper 12 Irish whiskey brought to you by this episode of Kill Connor Club. Anyway.
So Carlos has a drinking problem, which is great, but I don't think koalas should really be ingesting too much alcohol.
He's not. They just hang out. The bottle hangs out with him. I'm the one that ingests.
Have you ever had a conversation with a bottle of alcohol? It would be quite fascinating.
You don't want to
know. How you doing?
Yeah.
Go fucking mental. Settle down. How are you? Just go fucking mental.
Someone in the chat goes, Tyler is a koala bearing Mystios.
Oh, great. Assassin's Creed made its way into this podcast.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Kill Connor Club, the Assassin's Creed podcast.
Speaking of which, I played through the entire 3 remaster already.
Please, you got a fucking Assassin's... Why didn't I get an Assassin's Creed 3 remastered code?
Well,
I always get codes.
But this is the game that you hate to no end and back.
Yeah, but I'm also the AC3 follower.
Yeah, which is kind of ironic.
Oh, Tyler, can you do a video on it
first
and
of
your
all, don't
intro?
spoil
Can it?
Don't spoil it because that's what I'm doing this week. The day before the release of the AC3 remaster, I'm doing an AC3 follow-up update. Yeah, I'm doing an AC3 follow-up update. So we won't say anything. We won't say anything.
Are you gonna use
I'm doing
the
an old
music
school
and everything?
2000, the exact same music.
Yes!
I'm using the Apple intro. The Apple default
I'm so
intro.
excited.
I'm doing an AC3 follow-up update. Throwback to 2012, back when I did videos on Assassin's Creed 3.
Oh, man, that's gonna
AC3
be so
follow-up
exciting.
update is coming this week, probably like Wednesday, Thursday.
Can you change your channel name to AC3 follower for a day?
I won't do it just in case it fucks up and I can't change it back. You know, Facebook, you change your name and then you're stuck with it for 6 months.
That happened
I'm not
to me
doing
when
that.
I
I
made
won't do
Lasers
it.
Rhymes.
I'm not, Ethan. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it, Ethan. I'm not doing
Well,
it.
I'll do it for you with your account behind your back. Because
Yeah.
eventually in this admin conversation that you will inevitably have, one of you will disclose your password. And then all I'll have to do is find out your email address, which shouldn't be too hard. And then I'm going to fill you up with every single porn site that I fucking can. I'll sign you up for the lot. And then while you're like, looking through your emails for like work emails, etc., if you get those, you will find the bestest, fattest, most glorious breasts that you've ever seen. And they will just be there. And the email's title will just be succulent. It'll be fantastic. Can't have it in the UK. We might as well give it to everyone else. Be amazing.
Oh my god, that's crazy. Billy was just saying, no, it can't be Greasy Wheels because I've had 2 intros. I had the Greasy
Yeah,
Wheels
not
like
that one,
Apple
not that
default
one.
intro.
The other
When I
one.
say Apple default intro, I mean like the blue weird like
yeah, with all
bubble.
the circles.
Yeah, with all the circles here. No, the
Yes.
intro will be Tonight by Seether, which is, by the way, is a fucking phenomenal song. It's a legitimately
This
phenomenal
reminds
song.
me of Assassin's Creed 3. I'm so hyped for Assassin's Creed 3.
Oh my god! Because one of the because it'll be this month's Patreon decided video, whereas the February one that was decided by Billy, I didn't release until March, but I'm doing fucking 4 videos for. So I feel like it was alright that I delayed it a bit. I did a vlog and I've got 3 episodes already recorded and edited of Battle Bros, the Battlefield series I did, which by the way you should watch because it's fucking hilarious. And the next 2 episodes I released the first episode of season 3 this past week, and the next 2 episodes are so fucking funny. We talk about I'll release it tomorrow. The 2 countries we would battle. If we got to decide World War III, what would be the 2 countries that started? That's like the main premise of the next episode. We talk about that as well as like what the job we would do if we lived in World War II and we weren't soldiers. What job would we do? In the third episode, which comes out next week, we're talking about our penises and our penis sizes and naming our penises.
Fucking course.
It's phenomenal. It is so. I was editing it. I was pissing my pants laughing. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. Even if you don't like Battlefield, just listen to us talk shit. It's hilarious.
I just want to backpedal a bit to the point where you said one of the topics you would talk about is if World War III started, which countries would start it?
Let me ask you. I want to ask you. I'm not going to spoil it for what I answered to this question, but if you could start World War III, Ethan, what would be the 2 countries you'd pick to be like the catalysts for the war?
Oh, well, they have to be the 2 most fucked countries going that you wouldn't know about. So
Yes,
I'm gonna go.
exactly.
So I'm gonna go with the Vatican City. And
Yeah, that's great.
and it is going to sack Macedonia.
Oh my god.
With crucifixes for no fucking reason. And that is it.
That's World War III.
Greece is going to get involved. Then Italy is going to get involved. Then you've got Spain and France and all those other stupid European countries. They'll get involved too. Then the United Kingdom will be like, oh, what the fuck's this on about? Germany will be like, fuck off, you left. And then they'll be like, nah, we're back in now, boys. And then suddenly the entirety of Europe's up in flames. Russia goes, oh no, what the fuck is this? And everyone just goes fucking down. The Polish come along, like, let's, this isn't a proper world war unless we start massacring people. So let's find an ethnic minority to kill. Nah, that's a bit too old. We need to find some, like, really niche minority now. to make it a proper genocide.
Oh my
And then I know.
Oh my
the
god, this
rabbit
podcast is
people are
going to
getting
get
killed.
so demonetized.
The rabbit people holocaust. It'll be the most amazing thing ever. And then America's going to be like, did somebody say oil? And everyone will be like, no, fuck off. And then just hear the that American anthem and planes and fucking hell. Macedonia's getting annexed. Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Why did I
That's
choose
the
Macedonia?
You way overthought this. I kept it way simpler than that, but okay, that is so overthought.
That's the perfect World War 3. I don't think you can beat that one, actually, Tyler. I don't even
Well,
need to watch your video.
Okay, James, first of all,
Can you
you
imagine
do.
the
You need to watch Battle Bros Season 3, Episode 2 comes out tomorrow on my channel,
Ooh, that is
Tynamite.
epic.
It is epic. Please watch the series. It's really funny. I had to release a fucking Assassin's Creed video to get views back. I was literally like, I've got no views all year, and I released an Assassin's Creed video. I'm like, well, there's all of the views.
How many views is it on?
Well,
I'm looking now. It's on 3,613.
as of
Pretty good.
24 hours, and released 24 hours ago.
That's pretty good.
I was like, not bad, especially when the last few videos I've got only a few hundred. I'm like, well, I've got no viewers now.
They're all gone. Where have they all gone?
I don't know, dude. It's been a tough couple of years. Well, it's been tough my whole career, to be honest, on YouTube, but, you know.
They just want AC3 follower. That's what it is.
Well, don't worry. AC3 follower is coming back.
Oh, AC3
for one
followers,
time, of all these years of people talking about AC3 follower as a meme, as a joke, I get it. You will get it again. One time only, ever. It'll never happen again for the rest of eternity. The rest of your life, think about this. For the rest of your lives, you'll never get this again. I will bring it back one episode as a fucking laugh.
Unless they inevitably remaster the remaster.
And then you
They'll
got
Yeah, I don't think I'll be doing you. If I'm doing YouTube in 10 years, okay. I doubt it. Unless it's my full-time job and I have so many viewers I don't need to do anything else, I'm not doing YouTube in 10 years. It's just not happening. I'll have children then, Ethan. I will have children. You can't expect me to be talking about Assassin's Creed 3 when I have children to feed.
Specifically
Ethan.
3,
Alright?
though. Not just Assassin's Creed. That's
Yeah,
fine.
Okay, who said it had to be you who was Assassin's Creed 3 follower? Like, let's see. Right, okay, you have children. How many are we talking? 2? 3? Right? What if one of them stumbles across your old account? They find the login details and they go in.
So you're saying when I'm 34 years, first of all, probably have illegitimate children somewhere in the world?
Nah. I mean, I'm on about a 3-year-old going in there and being like,
"Oh,
what's up, guys? It's AC3 follower here."
I don't think my 3-year-old sounds like a 20-year-old.
Would you like
just
to
like
do this in my
retarded
3-year-old
voice?
voice?
Yeah, okay,
What's
that's
up,
not
guys?
Yeah, okay,
Assassin's
there we
Creed 3
Hey
follower
guys,
here.
it's the
okay,
AC3
that's
follower
Singing my
here.
underwear.
I got big shoes.
Hey guys, my son doesn't sound like that, alright? Don't.
Just sounds like you, but with a
It
high pitched
sounds like
voice.
me.
No, it sounds like me doing an impression of you, putting on a high pitched voice. That's what your kids are gonna sound
I can
like.
just imagine Tyler's parenting style. It's just gonna. All I'm imagining is 2 brass knuckles with the words etched in lots of love / dad, and it will be no to that. I do not. Actually, I reckon you'd probably smash it for the most part. Their skulls, for one thing, that are
Jesus Christ.
fucking pussies.
I feel
You
like
have,
I'm
you
gonna
have
be
to
a
raise
great
them right.
dad.
Yeah, you probably will actually. That's obviously my parenting would be horrendous.
I was
because
about to
I'd
say,
like,
hey
when
Ethan,
in doubt,
maybe don't have kids for a
kill
little while.
it.
Hey bro, maybe don't have kids for a little while. But,
Nah, but you see, can you imagine me as a parent ever? That would just be petrifying, wouldn't it?
it would be tough.
I'd give
really
them a
hope-
weird name and everything. I'd probably get so egotistical that I'll make their middle name Fishy, and they will be bullied for the rest of their days.
God, dude, God, dude, please. Hey, Ethan, always wear a condom, bro. Please always wear a condom, bro. Obviously.
No,
Don't be like me that's just like, fuck it. Let's just live a little. You
Fuck
know
it,
what I mean?
literally.
Like, let's
Yeah.
just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Don't be
nah.
like me who has illegitimate children somewhere in the world
You
that
see-
doesn't know about it.
You see, I'll wear 2 just in case one falls off. It'll be fine.
Yeah, okay.
Like the bags I'll wear on my head when I go out in public. It'll be great.
Yeah.
Not to worry, I will make sure that no illegitimate fishy juniors are out there in the world at any point. There's my ego shining through, because I'm like the only of the 4 of us who refers to themselves by their channel name. Because I'm pretty certain that out of the four of us, I'm the only person who actually likes their channel name.
No, I like my channel. I've always liked my channel.
Yeah, but
I
you can't
always,
go
sorry,
around calling yourself Tynamite without people looking at you like, what the fuck is this?
True.
Whereas...
But to be fair, when I inevitably, when I inevitably debut in mixed martial arts and finally have an MMA fight, which will happen, I promise you will happen.
Oh no.
My nickname will be Tynamite, as a laugh. Like when they're like, the Notorious Conor McGregor, the Notorious is his nickname. My nickname will be Tynamite because I'm hilarious. You know what I mean? Like my name, when they read my name, they'll be like, Tyler Tynamite doesn't say his last name very often. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like
it's a bit more than doesn't say his last name very often. It doesn't say his last name. We don't know why, but we have to respect it. Bye.
He never says it. We don't know it. We simply don't know his last name. Imagine if we didn't know his last name. We don't.
You've got to keep up the pretense. We don't know it. We don't know what his surname is.
No one does.
I'm pretty sure it's Fuck Off Bastard. It's just one of those.
Yeah,
surnames.
That sounds right to me.
There's a chance
Fuck
that's
Off Bastard. Tyler Tynamite Fuck Off Bastard.
There's a chance. That's great. We how many topics on the list have we covered this episode?
So I don't even remember.
So far, I covered zero main topics, topics. But I always have like a subcategory of like the catch-up, general, little small talk shit we do. We've covered 3 out of the 7 of those, and then no main topics. So yeah, that's great.
That's great.
I completely forgot what we trailed off of there into that little tangent. Yeah.
Talk about children and illegitimate children. Hey, you specifically should always wear a condom and never be a parent.
Where did that come from, though? We're talking about your series and videos and shit.
You'll find no argument from me on that one, anyways.
Yeah. Hey, dude, just get a vasectomy now, eh? Why not? You know what I mean? You're never gonna have it.
I'm just drinking.
Imagine that. Imagine if
oh, fucking hell. Okay.
How old? The last bit. How old are you? I'll be like, young. Why are you doing this? Feel like it, to be honest with you. Why?
It's been so long.
Just trust me. I will adopt if I have to.
It's been so long since I haven't given a fuck on one of these podcasts. Like Kill Connor Clubhouse, always don't give a fuck, talk about whatever. But man, it's been like at least a year, if not 2 years, since I've been like drunk on a podcast. I'm like, I'll just say whatever the fuck I want to say. I don't care. It doesn't matter.
What a good time we're having. What a bunch. What a bash of gamers.
Monetized.
What a bash of gamers. Is that the grouping name for gamers?
Yeah.
The bash of gamers.
It's on Urban Dictionary. We got it on there.
What was it? Not
did
on
you
there
actually? Did you actually get on?
Yeah, it's our thing. Ozzy said it. He came and he just said it in Discord, and then everyone was like, we should make that a thing, and we got it on Urban Dictionary. A bash of gamers.
A bash of gamers.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's good.
I do like a good bash of gamers. It makes me want to bash games.
Man.
Have a good time.
Before we get into like main topics and stuff, even though I probably shouldn't be talking about this when I'm intoxicated, even though I'm not really that intoxicated, but I've had a few drinks. We're on a podcast. It's all a bit of fun. It's all a bit of fun and banter. I did want to talk about something, personal. To get that out in the open a bit. That I have.
Get your popcorn.
Get your popcorn ready. I have been appointed. I've enlisted officially into the Australian Army Reserves.
Congratulations on your new haircut.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I've shaved my head. I've shaved my head. No hair.
Don't you have to though? Don't you have to have it kind of kept?
I do. I had to shave it soon, but I didn't actually have to do it as soon as I did it. But
you don't necessarily have to shave it. It just needs to be shorter than 3 inches on the top and shaved on the back and sides at the very least.
Oh, the top's fine as long as it's shaved on the back and sides. Which my hair before would have been fine long term, but before my first main big time off that I'll be training, they would have shaved my head completely. So I just pre-did it.
Why is that? Why is that a thing?
It's because, well, I can tell you why they shave beards.
Okay. I mean, I guess you can tell me that, yeah.
Because
I guess that's the information.
because part of that is the gas mask, and it can't create a proper seal if there's hairs pushing off of your
I
skin.
don't think that's a true fact, to be honest. I feel like this is bullshit.
No, it's not necessarily. Depends on the beard, doesn't it? If it's like properly thick and things, it's gonna compromise that seal or risk compromise.
Not really what I was saying when I said bullshit. I mean, the whole story itself was kind of not really the reason.
And also, it looks a bit scruffy and unkept.
What about the hair, though? So what's that about?
What's the hair?
Yeah.
Scruffy and unkept.
Yeah, I think it's more of that. Yeah.
Is that
it?
The
beard is definitely the other thing.
But what if you don't have scruffy hair, though?
Okay. The hair's one thing, but I did actually want to talk about something specifically, and this is what Snow here in the chat has said, is what's the next step for you, Tyler, with regards to reserves? Because I wanted to address this in the podcast, because I've been getting lots of messages, and I've said to people, I'll answer in the podcast. Because people are like, rest in peace, Kill Connor Club. It's not, Tyler's going to be gone. It's not going to happen.
Nah.
And that's not the case.
Tyler might die, but his son will live on.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I have several illegitimate children. I probably do. I don't know about any. I genuinely don't know about any of them, but there's a good chance they exist. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, the next stage for me, genuinely speaking, all jokes aside, is I'm going in as an officer, so that will mean. And my specific corps I want to go into is infantry, so I'll end up being a platoon commander. And my goals, it does sound like a good time. It's going to be a great challenge, great experience for me. And this is something I've been working towards for over a year, and it's something I've wanted to do since I was very, very young. So it is a big deal for me. And my father's been in the army for a long time, and this is very important to me. But when it comes to this and the podcast and things like that, there will be periods where I'm away for whether it be a month, 3 weeks, or longer doing my training qualifications. Because it's the reserves as part-time, I still have a full-time job that I'm doing. I still do YouTube. I still am working on my martial arts. I live my life, but the reserves is doing army part-time. So to get qualified, which would be full-time, I'm now doing part-time. So it's a longer period that I'll be doing all these trainings and separated into training modules, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So there will be periods I'm away, but it's also part of the reason James and I created, at least from my point of view, why I wanted to do something like the Cinema Room, where it's a podcast. We could pre-record 1,000 episodes talking about movies. We
could.
And I could go away.
I'm not doing that, but we could do that.
Yeah, I agree. We could do that. It's we could physically do that. But I'm saying, like, in my head, I'm sure we'll record Kill Connor clubhouses, you know what I mean, in advance for the first few weeks. But let's say I'm away a month. We could record a couple, but then it gets a bit ridiculous. But things like Clubhouse, we can do a bunch of extra episodes. So when instead of Kill Connor Club comes out, an extra Clubhouse comes out. So every single week for like 2-3 weeks, Clubhouse comes out. Jamie and I haven't really discussed specifics. We have 3 podcasts. There will be a way we release content every single week without fail, whether I'm away or not away. And eventually, I'm 23, almost 24 years of age. I'm not joining the army to sit at home on my ass and do trainings once in a while to feel good about myself. I plan on serving abroad. I plan on doing tours overseas eventually, once I'm fully qualified. And because I'm going for an officer, it'll take time. And, there's things like that. So there's a lot going into it. So it's not going to happen straight away, and it's not going to happen for a year. It might not be 2 years, but down the road, I plan on serving overseas. I plan on serving domestically. So there will be periods where I'm away for longer than a month. It might be 6 months, it might be a year. But that's way down the road. That's not something that's happening right now, and it's not something that even worth talking about, because who knows what happens in 2 years? Who knows whether I break my spine and I'm in a wheelchair for the rest of my life? I don't fucking know. You don't know what's going to happen. But I'm just saying, there's no point worrying about things in 2 years, 3 years. We deal with what we can deal with now, and there will always be podcasts and always be content to come out. I promise you. I will never let you guys down. I promise you that. I'm one of the hardest working cunts you've ever met. I promise you there will be content for you. That's all I wanted to say. That's all I wanted to say.
Good. James can always have guests on when Tyler is away. It'll be me.
But legitimately, I was going to say, I'm like, James, just get Ethan on, get George. I don't care who co-hosts it. Put out a podcast. It does not bother me whatsoever.
Is that really the point? That's not really the point of the podcast, though. The point is that it's me and you. If it's not me and you, then there's not really a point in doing it. Because it's like, I guess, but I could also then just put out. But if there's like topics to talk about, like news, I can talk about it. But the Kill Connor Club is sort of the reason people listen to it is because it's us. So I feel that it's probably not an option, to be honest. I don't really like that idea, but you know.
No, I understand. Like, and if you don't want, and I understand if you didn't want to do that, but I'm just saying, if you thought, oh, we need to talk about this big news has come out, or you want to do a spoiler cast for, I don't know, for fucking new God of War, or Assassin's Creed, or anything came out, and you wanted to get George and Ethan on, do it. I'm not going to get offended like, oh, my podcast is without me. Put out content. I want people to get content. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, true. Well, we'll figure all that shit out when we come to it.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
It's way down the road. I've got a lot of years of hard training and qualifications that I need to achieve first. So it's not going to be, the longest I'll be gone, I think, is like a month. And even that, we're going to be able to pre-record a lot of content before then. And that's not going to happen for months. James, I'll plan it. Don't worry. And we're going to be fine.
It's fine.
Guys, we're going to be fine. It's fine. And a lot of this I'm throwing on James right now as we speak live on air.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Him. Imagine if Tyler was his actual dad. Imagine how heartbroken James would be. The reason why he isn't is because James is something we call a sociopath. He doesn't really give a shit. He's just pretending. Be more like James. Sorry, James. I love you, really.
Oh my god, that's
great.
Fucking great.
All right. Do we want to move on
a
to
more positive note?
Topic?
We can move on to the main topic. I mean, I wanted to hear about your dogs, to be honest, James.
I want to know what the positive note was.
Yeah. Okay.
The positive note is James has some beautiful puppies.
I do.
That's a positive note.
Okay.
Tell us.
Let's talk about my dogs. Okay, so my Twitter has been fully converted into a dog appreciation Twitter for the past couple of days because
I'm gonna look at this now.
All I'm doing is just sitting with them and spending time with them. And they're amazing. It's brilliant.
Oh wow.
Their names are Oscar and Hudson, and they're black Cocker Spaniels. They're currently 8 weeks old, and people have been asking me, how do you tell the difference between the two? And we do. Sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes it's like, I don't really know which one that is. But Oscar has a longer tail. He's also a bit bigger, and Hudson has like white fur on his chin. So you can tell when you're looking at them. And obviously, as they get older, it'll be way easier to distinguish the two.
Because they'll grow different sizes and their ears will be different lengths and the rest of it.
Their fur will change, maybe not a lot, but their fur will change, significantly so that you can tell the difference, I would think.
Depends. Do they have bibs, sort of things?
What do you mean?
Like a white patch.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, they have some on their chest. There's a bit.
Yeah, that'll be different sizes. That'll be the big giveaway. You see, most cockers develop like a pattern usually, where white starts to show through, but that should usually show quite early. But I've never actually seen a patchy cocker puppy, so I might be wrong there.
Yeah, Well, it's it's a matter of time
you'll figure it out.
There's more distinctive features. But I can tell the difference. It's only been a couple of days, but I can already tell now. It's pretty easy just being around.
They're quite lovely little woofers, aren't they?
They are. They're very nice.
They're enjoying their lives at the moment. Reminding me of when Denis was little. Except all I remember about that was Denis barking at me. He just yapped at me. That was the first thing. And at that moment, I knew that he was going to be the noisiest bastard ever. and from that day forward, he hasn't let me down. Whenever there's someone at the door, he'll bark. He doesn't bark when there's someone there. Like he'll bark if wind blows the wrong way and it goes down the chimney. He'll bark at that. He'll bark if say someone's at the door. He'll bark until they're gone. Essentially, even if they come in and they sit down or whatever, he will just bark at them until they fuck off at him. Like if Donald Trump had say 1 million Denises along the Mexican border, he wouldn't need a wall because he's got the scariest voice ever, but he would never get aggressive. You know what I mean? And nobody will want to risk it. So yeah.
I mean, look, it's been a while since I've had been around puppies as well, because I mean, Harvey wasn't a puppy. It was like 14 years since we got him. So it's interesting. It's a fun experience. I was also 8 years old when we got Harvey, so I don't really remember a great deal of what it was like to sort of deal with him. But I'm sort of helping. My
puppies is a lot of leaving them be. To be fair, because they spend most of the day sleeping.
Yeah, they do. They spend a lot of time sleeping. They'll be up and they'll be running about and doing stuff, and then it won't be long before they're back to sleep again.
slowly coax them out of the separation anxiety that they'll probably have with people to begin with, especially since you're at home a lot, I'd imagine, James.
Yeah.
They'll never, that they won't necessarily begin to understand. So after a few weeks, you might want to test the waters with that one, and they might not like it at first, but it will have to be done. The rest of it, I mean, I'm remembering Denis stuff here because Denis, I was 14 when Denis arrived, and now he's like, I don't know, he's an old man now.
Yeah.
He's more like middle aged. He's going through a midlife crisis. He just lays on the floor in a slump. It's like, get the fuck up, you pathetic mug. And when he's in a playful mood, he's the proudest dog going. Like, I'll step out into the garden and he'll just attack. It's like, you do realize you weigh like 60 kilograms, right? And you'll be like, yep, that's why I'm doing this. He's a boisterous boy, actually. But yeah, it's just with puppies, easy. It's when they develop and they start to get personality traits. For example, barking at everyone and being aloof to visitors. That's when it starts to get harder to train them to not deal with it. So I reckon you'll be all right as long as they're around plenty of people. You know, the rest of it, you'll be all right.
Yeah, they're doing all right so far. They're pretty happy as well. Like, I remember...
Yeah, it would be because they're healthy and that's good. And it means you're treating them right as well, probably.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, everything's going pretty well. And I mean, Harvey was super well behaved. And my mum did a great job training him when he was young. And he was always, like... Yeah, he's one of the most well-behaved dogs I've ever seen. So, you know, my mum's going to be off work for a couple of weeks to sort him out. So, hopefully by then they'll also be good. But they're doing fine now. Like, they're already picking stuff up, like, you know.
Yeah.
With the way that we're, you know, talking to them. They're understanding, like, words and phrases and stuff. And, yeah, it's going pretty well.
It took Denis a year to understand what paw meant when I had treats in my hand. Now I can hold the treats above his head quite high, and I can just raise my arm and he'll just bounce up onto his hind legs and rest on my arm. And I'm really proud about that one, except he likes to jump the gun on it and he pounces people. So it only really works with me and people who know he can do that. Anyone else, they're fucked. They try to give him treats because he will just pounce for it. He'll be nice, like he won't try to get it. He'll just try to rest his legs on their arm so he can just stand up on his hind legs. And he'll be looking up at the tree like, give it to me now.
Yeah.
But he's waiting for your consent for that. So he does that, but he's still... dogs are amazing.
Dogs are great.
I mean, when it comes to their intelligence, sometimes questionable, but there is no doubt that they do understand what you're doing.
Yeah. It's great. It's just great having dogs around. It's refreshing.
Yeah, Denis is cunning. He doesn't like it when my mum like grooms him or whatever with the brush. So this morning he decided that he'd get the brush and he'd push it under the TV cabinet. He'd just get it out of the way. Just imagine a big dog doing that. His ears were flopping about like mad. He was having a great time. We were seeing him do it, so we knew exactly where the brush went. So it didn't work. But yeah, there you go.
That's great.
So I suppose that the two little dogs in the house of what's the word? They're a nice like change of pace from say like an older dog where it's like, you know, he's starting to get up a bit and he's a bit quieter and whatever. And now you've got two little playful rascals getting about doing their thing.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's good.
It's quite a dynamic shift as well, but it's also quite pleasant and refreshing.
Yeah. It's good. It's good to have them about.
Which reminds me of like a thing that I was told at one point. I don't know if it's true or whatever, but usually people like overlap the cycles when they get dogs. So when one dog starts to get on, they'll start to get like a puppy around, so that puppy can, you know, keep the older dog on his toes a bit more, keep him like healthier, happier, etc.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's that sort of cycle, so overlapping it, and then you just constantly have this dynamic, so it's no different one day from the next, and that makes it easier to deal with the dogs. But you know, two of them, that's got to be a handful.
Yeah. I mean, it's very different, but it's good. It's good. They're pretty good. Not causing too much trouble.
The little as well as the Cocker Spaniels.
Yeah, they are very small.
I think. Yeah, that's right. Cocker Spaniel of some form is one that my mother used to have when I was really little. Her name was Jenna. She was mental. She died of a brain tumor. Obviously, somehow I talked her into that. And she was just walking around in circles. I think I remember as that. But you know, poor dog. But you know, that's all I remember.
Yeah.
Very quiet.
Someone in the chat goes, Tyler doesn't like dogs. He hasn't said anything since they started talking about it.
What do you mean I don't like? What do you mean I don't like dogs?
You just
have a dog.
vanished. Yeah, that's true.
I did take a leak while you talked about that. I thought as soon as Ethan started talking about Denis, I was like, I can piss now. I've been busting for a while.
Yeah,
I mean, Ethan will be here for at least 25 minutes. As soon as you say Denis, I'm like, well, I got 25 minutes to take a leak.
It was going a back and forth conversation. Actually, you just missed.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've been here for most of it. I was gone for 30 seconds. But yeah. No, I've got a fucking amazing dog. I love dogs. My dog Coco, little Jack Russell poodle. She's beautiful. She's so beautiful.
I remember seeing the pictures ages back. She is a gorgeous dog.
Yeah.
Oh, she's she's amazing. She's so amazing, and she's over a year old now. And as of next Thursday, the 28th of March, we've had her for a year.
Yeah.
She's over a year old. She was born on the 26th of January, 2018, which is Australia Day, 26th of January. So she's a true blue Aussie dog.
Do you give her like a cape on that day?
We have a little Australian flag bandana for her. So.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Just comes out on that day every.
Oh, don't you worry. We're true blue patriots over here on this in my neck of the woods.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
You join the army and everything.
Yep. 2 of us in the house in the army now. 50% of us in the army.
Did you
anyway.
say 50 or 15?
50. This
because if you said 15, I was like, Jesus.
How many siblings do you have?
You can have a few. Depends on how big the house is.
I've one.
Yeah.
Let's get into some fucking topics, boys. It's been over an hour. So, Avengers Endgame. Ethan, I realize you're not an MCU guy, so I apologize for this. But the Fox deal's gone through this week, so fucking X-Men's now, Disney, everything's gone through. MCU has had a huge week, and the week before, we didn't talk about it on Clubhouse, we wanted to talk about it here today. Avengers Endgame has got a full-blown trailer.
It does.
Yeah, I saw that. Actually.
Did you watch it, Ethan?
Yes, I watched the trailer. And
wow. I love it.
Yeah, I did see Infinity War actually in cinemas. Although, I enjoyed that film actually. It was a pretty good time. So yeah, I definitely do look forward to seeing what this is about, and that trailer gave away a few things. I can't break it down like you two can, because you know what's going on inside and out in that, whereas I haven't got a fucking clue. I watch a film to mong out.
Disgusting casual. Just a peasant filthy casual over here.
At least I'm not a prisoner.
Disgusting. Shame.
Oh, no.
Shame.
You're shaming me.
Shame.
This is a disaster.
What is going on?
Can you feel the disappointment reverberating in my voice?
So much disappointment.
Echo.
James, I need to hear your fucking thoughts on this.
That's me. I tell you what, before I give my thoughts, I really need to go and piss. So, do you want to give your thoughts first? And I will be
I guess
20 to 30 seconds.
Okay.
All right.
Please
it would be. So this Avengers Endgame trailer, I love that. I mean, it's 2.5 minutes long, but most of it is just like black and white. Black, white, red. Look backs on like previous Avengers films, previous MCU films.
I think that's the bit I actually did get. I was like, oh, these are flashbacks.
Yes,
and it was only the red bits that were showing up as coloured. And
yeah, I'm not sure why that is though.
It's got like a cool effect to it. I think it was just an effect thing, and like flashback, like red is obviously like it's a. What's the way to describe red? Well, it's a sinister color, isn't it?
It is a bit.
Everything that these characters have done has led to that sinister moment at the end of an Infinity War or whatever, and that sort of might be what it's hinting at, but I'm not entirely sure. It was just a cool flashback thing, and it looks nice, so we're gonna go with that.
We're gonna go with that.
And then this Tyler just sort of like, James is so much fucking better at this, fucking hell.
No, not at all. I'm glad you've watched it though. Like that to me, because you did ask me like, what topics are we talking about this week?
Fuck it, I'll have to see this now.
Yeah, you probably need to watch the trailer. Well, I mean, like the flashbacks were great and all, but like it gave a lot of great stuff. But at the same time, like there's rumors that have been coming out this past week that the runtime of Avengers Endgame is 3 hours and 2 minutes.
Yeah, 3 hours. It's crazy.
No, that's baffling.
massive amount of time. So if it is that long, like to think about what we've seen in the trailers is what at the maximum the first 30 to 40 minutes.
You know what? This is a point. It's been rumored, so don't quote me on this, but apparently, according to sources, the Russo brothers have given something like a certain 7 minutes of the movie that they're able to put into trailers. Most of it is from the beginning, but there's only like 7 minutes of footage they're allowing into trailers specifically from the movie. Apparently.
Oh, crikey. Out of 3 hours and 2 minutes, apparently.
So that's why in this most recent trailer as well, there's they use some of the flashbacks and stuff. So most of it apparently is from the beginning of the movie, like the first sort of like 20 to 30 minutes of the movie, and then there's some other clips in there as well. But it's very minimal footage.
Like there's a shot of obviously Captain America when he tightens the shield and he's looking like he's in a massive battle. And there's also what's the fucking name? I'm drunk. I'm sorry.
What are we talking about? Who?
What's her name? Gamora's sister, Thanos' daughter. What's it? Nebula. Nebula and Captain America are clearly in the same place in a couple of shots. That looks near the end to me. That looks like surely in the second, third hour of the film.
Yeah, maybe.
Usually trailers.
But those are the only two shots. Yeah. Maybe Ant-Man when he's small jumping on a pencil.
Yeah.
Those are like the only shots that like could be near the end. Everything else looks the first 30 minutes. Right?
Yeah, I think so.
You see, a lot of trailers do this thing where they'll take a shot from one of the final scenes, and they'll pop it right in the middle of the trailer, right for everyone to see, but not knowing that that's what it is. They do that a lot in a lot of trailers. It's just, I think it's, like, I've seen it in several trailers, not necessarily MCU related, where they would do that. Like one of the later shots, just mid trailer, just there. You wouldn't even know it, blink and you'll miss it, sort of thing. And you'd only have to notice it in hindsight after watching the full film. So so there's gonna be a shot there that's from the end of the film, to be fair.
Yeah, but it doesn't give anything away at the same time.
No,
because that battle is either the ending or it's potentially the mid. Because I feel like there's gonna be a big battle. There's gonna be two big battles of the movie, probably in the middle and then at the end. That makes sense to me. So it could be either of those.
If not multiple with the time travel elements of like trying again, you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's also so there's two major points I wanted to bring up. So first off, there's clearly a time jump because there's like probably the first part of the movie takes place just after Infinity War, and then we get a time jump because we see Black Widow with her blonde hair in some shots, and then we see her with her hair's like grown out, so like you can see the red, and then the tips of it is blonde. So at some point in the movie, it looks like it skips forward maybe a year or something.
Do you think it skipped time or an alternate universe?
I think it's skipped time.
We're exploring the multiverse.
I think it's just skipped ahead. That's what it looks like to me. Like we're going to be starting the movie exactly after Infinity War, and then we're going to see, it'll skip forwards, and then we'll be like, this is where we are a year later, and they still haven't beaten Thanos, and then they've got to, figure it all out. And the second major thing was that those so there's that shot where all the Avengers are in the Avengers facility and they're all wearing the like what seems to be like spacesuits. But you've got like there's like merchandise of like all of them wearing it and stuff, because I can't remember specifically who's wearing them in those shots, but people have said, well, it must be because they're going to space or whatever. But then there's certain characters that don't need them because we know Thor doesn't need it, because he's been in space. Like, he doesn't need this. He doesn't need a space suit.
It's to go to the quantum realm. It's to travel through time.
Yeah. So it's clearly for a different purpose. So quantum. I feel like, because a lot of people said, oh well, what if they use the time stone to travel back and stuff like that? But I don't think that's the case. I think they're using the quantum realm because I think that Ant-Man plays a direct role into this movie, and I think they'll use the quantum realm to find their way to travel through time somehow.
There's a reason Ant-Man wasn't in Infinity War. Ant-Man and the Wasp explores the quantum realm in the movie that came out right after Infinity War, and the reason that Ant-Man's alive and in this movie.
Yeah, it's because
Ant-Man's a huge role, the same way Captain Marvel's a huge role in this movie. Like, obviously the main characters of Endgame are Tony Stark, Steve Rogers. They're main characters, and the main 6 Avengers from the original Avengers movie: Black Widow, Hawkeye, Thor, Hulk. The original 6 are our main 6, obviously, but Captain Marvel and Ant-Man play a huge role in the sense of Ant-Man is a big part of the science elements, the quantum realm, the time travel, the storyline, the plot that affects how they're going to fix what happened in the past.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel has an effect on how they're going to defeat Thanos specifically in combat. Like, that makes a lot of sense. They have their roles to play, but again, our main characters are still the same ones we're used to.
Do you think those suits potentially offer another feature as well? Maybe as not just for actors in the quantum realm, but maybe it has like a chameleon effect or something. So like when they do eventually get back to like the Avengers, say they go back to 2012 or something like that, do you think maybe the suit won't remain white? It'll like blend in. So like say Cap will have his Avengers suit on, and like Tony will it'll morph to suit the period they travel back to. Or do you think it will just stay white? So you say this
because we've seen set photos, spoilers by the way. We've seen set photos of Captain Marvel, Tony Stark, filming Endgame. They've recreated the Avengers 1 New York Loki attack. Like that, we know they go back in time to the Avengers 1 film, if not other places, but we've seen photos of that on set.
Yeah.
Do I think they blend in? No, I don't. I don't really think it's a chameleon effect.
You don't?
I don't.
Do you think they get dressed and change their clothes manually?
I don't know. I don't know if they do that. I don't know. Like,
they maybe
jump
you're right, into their old bodies or something. But then they're wearing those wrist things as well in those set photos, and they're also wearing those in that that leaked promotional thing where they're wearing them as well. So I don't know. To be honest, I kind of feel like potentially it could be. But also then, what happens to the other? What happens to the other Tony Stark and Steve Rogers in that time zone? Do they just meet each other and there's two of them, or like do they replace them, or how does that work?
There's two of them.
Yeah, do they meet though?
No.
Because in the set photos, you've got like Steve and Tony, and they're very clearly in the thick of the like Battle of New York type place. So where are the other two?
I don't
Watching from a safe distance with sunglasses and a bottle of Tyler plug, please, and a bottle of what is it called again?
The proper 12? Proper 12 whiskey?
12 Irish whiskey.
That's the one.
Sponsor. Unofficial sponsor of Kill Connor Club podcast.
That's exactly what they do.
If I remembered
Proper
that.
12 Irish whiskey. Smooth as anything by Conor McGregor. Go on, sorry.
If I remember that would have been amusing, actually. Back to it. Continue.
There's not too much else this trailer really shows. It's all very vague. There's nice pieces here and there. A nice theory that I have seen floating about that I thought was cool is one of the first shots we see is of Clint Hawkeye doing some archery with his daughter. And there was a little tweet I think that said like, oh, what's the bet that he goes to pull the arrow out of the thing that she shot it into, and he turns around and then they're all turning to ash because we get to see that.
My life savings is the bet. My life savings is the bet that's
but then
exactly
what if that arrow is the one that
Wounded
is the
for
final blow on Thanos after everyone's been fighting and everything?
No.
You don't think so?
Hawkeye's not the one that fucking kills him.
I kind of think it is.
Hawkeye?
I kind of think it will be.
Hawkeye?
It's what everyone seems to think. I'm of the same mindset, I think. Because Hawkeye seems like a very major character in this movie. Way more than he has been. I think he'll be way more prominent.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, but I'll tell you who's beating Thanos. It's fucking Steve Rogers.
I don't know if it will be. Because I think that he'll play a major role in the resolution, but I don't know whether he'll be the one to kill Thanos.
Well, you're wrong. That's okay. You're allowed to be wrong, but that's cool.
Okay, we'll see.
In Avengers Endgame, the only main character is Steve Rogers. And
the only
character is Steve Rogers. The only main character is Steve Rogers. The only one that'll do anything is Steve Rogers. The only one that'll kill Thanos is Steve Rogers. And Steve Rogers is the best. So anyone else can suck my nuts and pretty much fuck off. So yeah, that's what I think of this.
You see, when I was thinking on that, then what came to mind was a comparison. Like, so if it does turn out that Hawkeye of all characters is the one to finally defeat Thanos, it's like let's compare that to an alternate reality in which the Star Wars prequels ends with Jar Jar Binks being the one who kicks Anakin into the pit of lava or whatever. That would be a similar thing, except one of them's not stupid. Just a random side character would be the one to just pop in and go bang. It would give you like an ill satisfaction. So you wouldn't. It doesn't seem like a satisfying thing. It might be within the film, but within the entire build-up of that universe, they'd have to do something with the sort of the masses to all the gravitas that they've created in every way that they've done it. So if they don't do that, it would wouldn't be a point.
Yeah.
I love the word gravitas. I love that you use that.
I like that word as well.
You see, I'm very good at something that I've dubbed as gravitas self-destruct. So it's where you build something up in one way and then you completely deflate it, just because you can. And do you want to know how you do that? Okay, here's how I did it. I uploaded a video on my second channel where it was just the instrumental to "That's the Way It Is," but when the lyrics kick in, it's "Bully in the Alley."
That's good.
And I'm gonna pop that in your chat so everyone can enjoy a bit of that. There you go. It's just fucking pain. That is what I call gravitas self-destruct. You're welcome.
That's great.
I'm excited.
That's great. People in the chat saying, what have we got? What Billy? Why have you put spoiler alert as if that is that's what will happen?
Classic Billy.
It's not a spoiler, is it? If it's speculation, that means we should put spoiler alert whenever we're talking about any of this. Yeah, I mean, what else is there from this trailer though? To go.
There is Captain Marvel showing up with Thor at the end. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that looks. When was that? When is that? I'm trying to remember that shot. I think that's before the time jump, right? So like that, like.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
Black
because
Widow still got her blonde hair,
correct.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
yes.
the marker. That's what I'm using here because that's the only super clear indication. Also, I think Thor's hair as well, because Thor has those shaved lines from Ragnarok that he got on what's that planet called? Sakaar, is it?
Yes, Sakaar.
He has those in some shots,
place.
but other shots he doesn't because the time jump.
Well, he doesn't in the pre-time jump with Captain Marvel. He does not have the shaved sides.
Sure
no.
about that?
Positive. I'm looking at it right fucking
Avengers
now, bro.
Endgame. Yeah, well, I'm gonna go check anyway, just in case.
I have a big question. Do you reckon in the time between in that time jump, Thor went and got a haircut again, or is
They
it
all
long
must have
again?
done. I mean, Hawkeye's got some crazy hair. Oh no, he doesn't. He
got
has the line. Thor has the line, like going down towards his sideburn. Like that's part of it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Shot.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
but
I
other
see what
ones,
you're saying.
other scenes, he doesn't have that.
It's weird. It's weird.
Because he has him. There's another shot as well where you see him. It literally looks like it's from that battle on Wakanda.
Yeah, there's all. I'll tell you what else is the time jump is Steve having a beard and his hair the same, and then he gets a beard shave and a haircut.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
I love Hawkeye's haircut as well. Like he has just normal hair, and then he has to have like a fucking weird mohawk thing.
Yeah, that is some
what kind
weird
of,
fucking hair. I want to know when he got that done, and also why. Like what?
Hey,
just
bro,
don't.
you wait less than a month, bro, and you'll know,
find out.
huh?
We'll find out. Just
Yeah,
when we
I
get to
wanna know
see
what,
him getting that haircut, it's the weirdest haircut though.
I just want to. Yeah, exactly. I want to spend half an hour of the movie watching him just get his haircut.
I am sorry, but there is no order of life choices or events that could cause me to have a mohawk. It would just.
That's a legitimate point.
Yeah, I have to agree. But he's lost his family. He's very clearly lost his family, and he's lost his mind. He is.
I shaved my head, so I don't know. I can fucking talk. You know what I mean?
But I can't imagine you to get a mohawk. Not a weird looking.
Shaving your head's
Hawkeye
a normal
mohawk.
thing to do. I can't do it because I've got massive ears, so it would just look a bit wrong. And believe it or not, I've been there and done that.
Yeah.
And I had to don a beanie for a while. It was pretty sick. The beanie is life. Just hug the beanie. Don't leave the house without the beanie. I'm an ugly bastard with a skinhead. Jesus Christ. I just realised my ears are like wings. You could balance a fucking Boeing 747 on them. It would just
Jesus.
be. You could safely land a plane with my ears as opposed to wings. It would be great. Just hang an engine off the ends of each side. Sorted. You know, I'd actually like to try that. In fact, no, I fucking wouldn't. But it would be interesting to see what would happen if that would work.
Someone said in the chat, who was it? Snow goes, I wonder if they shot bits of Endgame during Infinity War, like leftover footage use. They shot both
They did it
movies back to back.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, they shot both movies at the exact same time. Yeah, because they're
Yeah,
like
they
literally
wrapped up
part
one
one and
part
part
two.
two of the same thing. Yeah. The Russo brothers shot both movies back to back. The same way they shot Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit trilogy, they filmed them all at once.
Yeah.
Because they had everything planned out from the start of how it was going to start and finish.
Yeah,
which
the
is
Russo brothers have
beautiful
said it was a horrible experience, and they're never going to do it again.
Did they say that?
They didn't necessarily. It's a horrible experience, but they said they're not doing it again because it was.
Sorry, what?
It was like super stressful, and
I
just
can
trying to
imagine
do it all at both movies. Yeah, back to back. They
can
said
imagine
Well, the
doing
Russo
back to
brothers
back.
have done nothing but a tremendous job in the MCU. They made Infinity War, Winter Soldier, and Civil War. They haven't filmed nothing but the best films in the MCU.
Yeah, they do great jobs. So that's great. But yeah, I'm super looking forward to Endgame. I loved this trailer. I thought it was a brilliant trailer. And I loved all of the callbacks to the other movies with the black and white with the red accents and everything. I thought it was great. It looks great.
What do you think the red means? Ethan and I were talking about it, but you weren't here. What do you think the red?
It doesn't mean anything.
You've got a flashback to
disagree.
your English class from
It's-
like year whatever. now.
It's to represent the 10 years of Marvel, right? That's what it's for. But also to distinguish the shots from... Because it's like, look, this is clearly a flashback shot, but the red is there for the 10 years of Marvel. That's why when the logo does the Marvel 10 years, everything goes silver, apart from the studio's 10, which goes red.
Oh, okay.
It's just
Okay,
the same
makes
art
sense.
style, isn't it? And then
Oh, right, okay.
it's
That makes
also
sense.
like a... But then it's also to distinguish that this is a flashback for people that might not know, so that it doesn't jumble the shots up as well. That's what
I'm
I
sure
got
the black
from
and
it.
white did that on its own,
Um,
but
It might have some.
Fair
It might
enough.
have some other. Like I think that's what the red's for, because I think the black and white is to distinguish that it's a flashback, but I think the red is there to just be like, look, it's like the 10 years of Marvel.
emphasis makes it
Yeah.
look like it's something you've already seen because it's not in full color. It's a
So-
clever sort of thing, but it does really put emphasis on the flashback, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense. We'll go with James's explanation.
That's what I got from it, because I saw a lot of people being like, oh, what does it mean? It must have a secret meaning. But I
You see-
always thought it was to do with just the 10 years.
You see, my mind immediately went to red is the color of blood, and that means that people have died.
There's also possibly that as well. Like I think
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's-
I'm with the,
you could also take
with
that
you.
from it as well, for sure, because it's like, yeah, like this is all like everyone's fucking dead at this point as well. So yeah, there's obviously that as well. But I think primarily, it was just the 10 years thing, because I think they just wanted it to look the same. 'Cause didn't they do it? Didn't they do this before as well in the Infinity War lead up to Infinity War? They did some black and white with red stuff. It was like it wasn't an official
remember.
trailer. It was something else. I don't remember. But yeah, I don't think the red is anything super specific that will like have a really secret meaning. I don't think so. But it looked
Could do.
nice.
You never know.
It
could.
looked good, I think.
it looked good. It looked very good.
I enjoyed looking at it, which was very
It was-
nice.
It was
So-
very
The shot of Captain in that battle where he tightened his shield and then, oh my god, I fucking came so hard.
Yeah. Some people have said in that, I can't remember where I read this.
Are you gonna say that they thought it was the Winter Soldier that fucking
Oh,
tightened
no,
the
no,
shield?
no,
and
no,
it
I've talked
wasn't,
about
and
that
it was
before.
clearly the fuck.
No, but I've
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I've talked about no, but this is a separate thing. So people have said that in that shot from the newest trailer, potentially Thanos could have broken his arm or something, and he's using the shield to like to, you know, like when you've broken your arm or like fractured it or like something, you like sort of tighten it. He's like using the shield to like,
So-
I don't know
so
what you call it,
Thanos
like
broke
brace it
Steve's
sort of
arm.
thing.
or a brace, like a
Well,
brace
because they're all
to hold it
fighting him and
together.
everything looks fucked, and he like maybe his arm is super damaged, and so he's using the shield and like tightening it against him to like really, you know.
No, if you've
Yeah.
got
Out
an arm,
sort
it'll
of
take
thing.
a bit more than that to probably pull through. Even for, I don't think he can break his bones though, can he? Not like properly like that.
I think he
Well,
can.
Steve thing is like his body recovers like I think 5 times faster than normal humans.
Yeah,
That would still
which
take
is-
about a couple weeks to
Yeah, but it's
He
also
also-
a comic book movie though. Like it's also doesn't
sure,
matter
for
as
sure.
well. But also he's sort of like just
Yeah,
putting,
it all
I feel like
matters,
at this
James.
point, like he's putting his all into it, and I think it's possible. It'd be pretty fucking cool that he's using his
It's
Captain
also
America shield to be like,
It's all-
fuck, I'm a fucking badass. I'm tough as
At
shit.
the same time,
I'm a badass.
Yeah.
at the same time, how long would he have had that shield on his arm at that point? Probably like 3 days straight of just bashing people with that shield. I'd imagine at that point, even for a super soldier, his arm would start to tire. So it could be anything.
I mean, I don't know. I don't necessarily think that's what's happening, but I like the idea of it because I think it's quite cool. But who knows? Who knows what's going on there?
But even just the poster art, man, like the fact that Steve's clearly we knew was a major part of this from the marketing so far, and then to see like how much they did with Steve in the fucking like the poster to have him front and center, it just man, I mean so much, man. I'm so excited.
Yeah, so am I. This is some great shit. It's a really great trailer. Do you think we'll get any more trailers until the movie comes out, or do you think it's the final one?
You'll probably get one closer to the like the release of the debut of the film in cinemas, won't you? There's always one somewhere, usually speaking.
I feel like we'll get similar to what they did with Infinity War, where they started releasing like smaller ones here. I don't think we'll get another major trailer like this one, but I think it's possible we'll get those because when Infinity War was coming out, they were doing all these like little ones where it was just like maybe like it was the same thing but sort of re-edited with like maybe one or two tiny little extra clips in there. I feel like we might get some of those, but I feel like the movie's so close now and they've already shown so little that I feel like they won't do another one, like another major one. Because
There won't be a major one that'll give away anymore.
No, not like this one. I don't think we'll get another one that was like this because this is clearly the main trailer for the movie.
Maybe the week of they might, but by that point it'll be kind of too late. It won't be big spoilers.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of I don't need another trailer to be honest. I say this every time, but I feel at this point I'm like these are all great. The marketing for this movie has been incredible, and I don't need another one at all. Little teasers here and there are nice. I like them, but also it's a month until the movie comes out. I can wait for that. I don't need another big one. I'm fucking hyped as shit.
Easy enough.
So yeah.
Yeah. Good
Beautiful.
times.
Great. If you haven't really liked the podcast, by the way, on YouTube, go ahead and drop us a like. We only need 100 likes while we're live, so if you could help us smash that'd be brilliant. Thank you all so much.
Yes. Like this stream now.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to. See,
it's
did I tell you that I've been up for like what, 20-something hours?
I was about to say,
well
did you
over
sleep
20.
at all last night?
No, I didn't.
Why, man?
Jesus.
I couldn't.
What do you mean you couldn't?
Have you ever?
What does that even mean?
I
No, I literally have never. I've never not slept because I sleep because that's what fucking people do.
Yeah, well, okay then, cool. But yeah, I guess you could be weak like that. You see, I hold the stance that I actually just struggle to sleep some nights. So, I'll eventually it'll just it'll become too much. It becomes so difficult to sleep that it's easier to just not. And in those moments, I just have to.
Weird moments where when I'm talking to you, Ethan, I think to myself, it is middle of the day in Australia. What fucking time is it for you? And I'm like, oh, it's 4 a.m. Why are you talking to me right now?
Oh yeah, like for example, watching a Michael Jackson documentary at what time was it? Oh, I didn't sleep that night either.
Oh, dude, I was at work and I was like, this is the middle of the day. Why are you talking about the Michael Jackson documentary? What time? We're like watching like a 4-hour documentary at like 4 a.m. I'm like, holy shit.
That used to be my life. That's what I used to do.
I do have periods where it goes into a normal sleep schedule, but it always breaks itself. Like I'll be up at like 6 and I'll go to sleep at like 10, and it'll stay that way for about 2 weeks, and then eventually it'll just be 4 a.m. I'll be like, what the fuck? And then it'll be like 10 a.m. I'll be like, right, I need some sleep. It'll be 1 p.m. and I'm still not gone. and then I'll be like, right, fuck it, and then I go to sleep, and then it'll be like 5. For some reason, I don't sleep well in the evenings, and then it'll be the same rinse repeat for another 2 weeks, and it just stays in that cycle. I can't explain it, and I don't know what's going on. Maybe I'm weird, but
You think?
Thanks, Tony.
Yeah, it's tough because my sleep
Oh,
schedule was fucked for so long, like fucking years. Like I'd have periods where I'd fix
Literally
it,
years.
and it was just so fucked. But I'm just
well.
at a point now where I can't fuck it up. Like it'd be so difficult for me to fuck up my sleep schedule now and just
You selfish fucking
mess
prick.
everything up. I know.
Having
I'm
a
so
normal
sorry.
sleep
I'm
cycle.
so sorry.
Fucking
I
hate
know
you.
it makes your life a bit harder, but makes
Oh
my
my
life
God.
a lot easier.
I'm just trying to find a routine in my life, and as soon as I've got a routine going, I reckon it'll start to fix itself. But until then, I reckon I'm doomed to struggle with it for a while. But that's okay. I seem to be managing all right.
I do miss it at times.
Side effects include talking shit and being drowsy, but I can power through that because I am the mighty Fishy.
Yeah.
You are the mighty fish.
Yeah.
And there's my
The big
ego
pillar.
trying to do again. The big pillar, that is my name,
Big pillar.
apparently. So did I
love
tell
it.
you
I
that my
love it.
sleep schedule's fucked?
You did tell us. I do want to ask James. Now that your sleep schedule is not fucked, how much better do you feel at life?
Oh, amazing. It's so great. You know how much I love the morning. I feel so refreshed when I wake up and I eat breakfast and
Eat breakfast,
and I can
what the
open my
fuck?
window and I can hear the birds tweeting and I'm like, oh, this is just brilliant. This is fantastic. I love it.
Dude, that's crazy.
Whoa,
That's insane.
it's always
Whoa.
crazy here on the podcast. Crazy.
No one that listens to Club, unless you listen to Clubhouse, you do not understand.
No,
what we're
just
talking
like, what are these fucking idiots going on about? Although that's the whole
We're
thing.
insane
That's everything we say. So that's fair.
That is everything. That is everything we say.
Yeah, do you know what we
I
should? Do
haven't
we have?
found the time to understand that in joke because I've been too busy fucking my sleep schedule. I apologise greatly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Listen to our podcast.
Yeah,
Jesus
while
Christ.
you're
Anyway,
fucking your sleep schedule, listen to Kill Connor Clubhouse for just $1.
It's
over
more
at
like when I'm
patreon.com/.
unfucking it that I should be
Always.
listening to those kinds of
Yeah,
things.
that's true.
Because
Yeah.
then I'll just want to go. I want a lucid dream about whatever the fuck that was.
Oh, that'll be great. That'll be fantastic.
The amount of
Ne-
lucid dreams I've had that are just completely fucking random. It is amazing. It is the most amazing experience is to have a stupidly random dream. Right, I've always used this example. So once a dream started with me waking up in my bed. It was in this dream, of course. I wasn't actually waking up in my bed. I got up. I was like, right, I need a glass of water. So I went downstairs. And downstairs in the kitchen, there were two old men like rubbing each other with sunflower oil in their hands.
Fuck, hey bro, what are you talking about, huh?
And then I was like, what the fuck? And then I went back to bed, and then it was just, that was it. That was all I remember. It was that memory has stuck with me forever. I don't understand where it came from. I'm not sure I swing that far that way. And it was
Hey, I don't know about that. Your brain is clearly telling you something.
I definitely don't. So I was very confused by that. I woke up and I was like, okay, well, obviously they like sunflower oil. So
Obviously, yeah. Obviously.
Yeah, I don't know where the old men came from though, or whose
No,
faces they were, because that confused me a bit. Who were you? It's like, sorry, that dream is disturbing. I feel like going to a psychiatrist and
yeah, I agree with
having them just go show us on the bear where he touched you and be like, who? Why are you using a bear?
Why are you using a bear?
I identify as a zebra. Get a zebra.
Get a zebra.
Right, yeah. I'd rather not waste my time with that while I'm fucking my sleep schedule and avoiding those dreams. But yeah, they are weird experiences when you just have a stupid... I think it must have been some weird fever dream or something, and I must have not been very well, because that's the only way I can explain it without the answer being I'm gay, because I'm not. At least as far as
Are you sure?
I'm very certain, actually.
Okay, well, that's good. I mean, well, it's not... Okay, I said it like, I'm glad you're not gay, because that would be fucking wrong. No, I'm just joking.
I'm glad you're not gay, because that would be fucking gay.
That would be so
That would
gay.
be gay. That would be definitely would be
No.
gay.
If you were gay, that would be pretty gay. That would be pretty gay.
Yeah.
That's gay. You should have just said halfway through explaining what I was explaining, that's gay, and it would have just...
That's so gay.
You see, if Jamie
What
was
is
in the
this
chat right now,
podcast?
he'd be having a fuck.
Where is Jamie? He's disappeared. He's died.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. He's
I
not
mustn't
about
have been
anymore.
very well that night. That's all. That's the only way I can explain it, and I'm gonna stick with it. And if I wasn't, I'll just go, "What the fuck?" It's my brain. But then again, like all I was thinking of when I was, all I can think of when I'm doing things is, what's the worst that can happen, and how can I do it and get away with it? So, yeah, my brain is a bit fucked up. So there's that. I'm just a
That's
weird
okay.
man. I'm just a
Great.
weird man.
I reckon we should talk about this other topic that's in the title, so that we've
Yeah.
done it, so that the title doesn't look false.
No, we will talk about that. But there's one thing I wanted to talk about before that. There's a topic I want to address before that.
Okay.
Assassin's Creed.
Ah.
Relate.
Sorry?
Okay.
I've got you.
Assassin's Creed what?
Okay. Assassin's Creed. Last time, Ethan, you were on the podcast was episode 90. The Four Pillars were on together, and we talked about a leak / a message, an inside source that was sent to you, Ethan,
Oh yeah.
about the next
Okay.
Assassin's Creed title. And I made a video on it this
Steven.
week, so I want to talk. Yeah, Stephen, exactly. Stephen, your inside source that we're keeping secret, anonymous. Stephen. That works for, and they gave us some inside information, and we've talked about that. I made a video on it this week, so I wanted to talk about that because since then we've had some more clear information that it's kind of almost making the Legion stuff sound true.
Yeah.
And when I say that, it's
also,
because
Jason Schreier
do
said
you mean?
no, though.
Jason Schreier did not say no.
Yeah, but
He said,
did
"Don't
not
think
say.
so."
Do you
Yeah, but not a-
really
but
think
not
he genuinely meant that in a confused way? Like, oh, I don't
It was
think
more.
so.
It seemed a bit. It didn't seem necessarily mocking. It just seemed like a very ambiguous. I don't think so. Could swing either way. He could be mocking it. He could be saying no. At the same time, he's so deeply embedded.
He's saying
at
no
this
to
point.
the leaks that were like, the fake leaks are very specific. Like, there's this is this game coming out, and this is coming out then, and what? Hang on, let me get the fake leak up.
So what he's saying, what we think he's saying is he's saying no to the leak, but that doesn't mean that all the information is completely false. It just means that leak is not a real leak. But it could very well be set in ancient Rome. It could very well have these other features. It's just that leak is not real.
100%.
Well, yeah, of course it is.
Like for example, the picture on it is totally fake.
Yeah, no, I figured that out before.
Yes, definitely. So
Yeah,
he knows
of
that's
course,
fake.
and which we all agree with that.
Angled
But also, like, it has information like,
Information
focus
that
more
anyone could also come up with, though.
on smaller firearms and knives for combat, with a larger emphasis on hacking. That's what's talking about Watch Dogs 3. And then it goes, next Assassin's Creed is codenamed Legion 2020, current and next gen. Set in Italy, the end of the reign of Marcus Aurelius, guy from Gladiator is the brackets, and during the struggles of his son Commodus and the year of the 5 emperors. Play as Cassius or Lucia, a descendant of the characters from Origins and Odyssey. Unclear from which is canon. So it's someone that's taken the leak that we have gotten and then made up a storyline, character names. That is what Jason Schreier is saying no to. He's saying no to that people have taken a real leak with real information that is vague because it's early stages at the end of 2018 when the game's not coming out to the end of 2020, and then they've made up character names, they've made up the era that it's placed in, they've made up all these different things about it, taking real information like it's developed by Ubisoft Sophia, it's coming out in 2020, it's set in ancient Rome. Real stuff. That's real information we've got. And they're taking fake shit and then throwing it out there to the public. How many Empire fake leaks happened from Egypt? Egypt was still the real setting, but how many fake leaks came out of that? That's what I'm saying.
That makes sense.
Countless. I mean, if you typed Assassin's Creed Empire Fizhy, you'd get an exact number. But
7,000.
7,000. That's more videos than I've uploaded.
Remember that one, that Empire leak that said about how you were playing as Altair's ancestor? That was a common one. That came up a few times.
Yeah, no.
For Empire,
yeah, I
which
remember
wasn't
that one,
true,
actually.
but there you go.
Yeah,
and I think that, so this leak we got right, I feel like After playing the Legacy of the First Blade DLC, I think it's way more likely as well, because it said that you're a descendant of Cassandra and a descendant of Bayek and I, which was like, that's weird, but now it makes sense because it's the same fucking
Yeah, but this is my whole point. Like, this is information that I believe is real, and I believed it's real since we got it from Ethan's source, a person who Ethan says he trusts, and I fucking trust Ethan.
I trust Steven. I wouldn't put money on him, but I trust him. I trust that he's not lying to me. That's one thing.
For sure. And I understand what you're saying. And that's what I'm saying to you, James. Like, the information we've got, which is vague, is real. And story elements can change the same way the Origins Empire leak that came out 2 years before the game came out got so much right, but a few things not quite right, because obviously in 2 years story elements change.
But they made sense. Like, it made sense. Like, you can read that and be like, oh, that's what happened to that thing. Like, you get But
the leak we got in December of last year makes sense in the sense of Ubisoft Sophia are making a game coming out on current and next-gen consoles, and then Ash's team is making the only next-gen game. That makes total sense. Makes total development sense. Now, what I wanted to say was that didn't make sense, but now makes sense, so I wanted to talk about it, was that the information that Steven gave us was that the main character of Legion is a descendant of Bayek and Aya, so the Hidden Ones are developing things of that nature, and we understand that. But then also a descendant of Cassandra. We're like, what the fuck? That's so retarded. Of course they would do that. It didn't make any sense. But then information later that's come out that's factual is in the actual DLC of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Legacy of the First Blade, is that Aya is a descendant of Cassandra.
Yeah.
That's it. So what I'm saying is this information came out before that DLC came out. You know what I mean? Like, that tells me a lot.
Yeah, I think that means it makes a lot of sense.
That's a legitimate source. You know what I'm saying?
Plus, on top of that, you've got well, shit, I forgot what I was gonna say. Carry on. I completely forgot what I was gonna say.
Well, I was just saying, like, just having like all. It's the same way when we look back at the Empire leak, that they said, trust me, 2016 there'll be no Assassin's Creed. You'll notice at E3 there'll be no Assassin's Creed. Screenshot this. I'm telling the truth. Yeah. Next game's 2017. It'll be in Egypt.
I remember what I was going to say.
And then 2 months later, we got information from Ubisoft, and they're like, we're not releasing a game in 2016. And all of a sudden, we're like, guys, this leak is true. It told us what Watch Dogs 2 was. It told, you know what I mean? Like, it caused so much, and slowly but surely, everything they said came to pass. This leak. The first thing that it said, that obviously it made sense at the time, was always like, well, that's actually, even if it's fake, wow, it's well made in the sense of it all makes sense, business-wise, story-wise, development-wise. Yeah. And all of a sudden, the first information that didn't make sense at the time we got the leak, but all of a sudden a couple months later makes sense in the same way I look back to the Empire leak, is that, well, there's no game in 2016, was this says it's a descendant of Aya and Bayek, but also a descendant of Cassandra. And we're like, what does that, fuck, that's dumb. But then Legacy of the First Blade says that Aya is a descendant.
Still dumb, but
it's canon, so...
But it's canonly fact. And
it's
that's not information we got after the fact. It's information we got before we even knew that was
plausible.
Yeah, and the thing as well is that they made it very clear that this baby that Cassandra had in the first episode, was it the first episode or second episode, was hugely important.
I've never
as well,
played the second episode. I've never seen the kid, so I've only seen your streams because I've watched both of you react to the ending of both episode 2 and 3. And it's fucking hilarious.
Because when it first happened, everyone was pissed off. They were like, "But my Cassandra," because the whole thing, the premise was you could be straight or gay. It's like, my Cassandra's gay, and it's like, oh yeah, well, but we're still gonna have the baby. We have to force the baby in there. It's a choice that has to happen. And the fact that they needed that, the fact that they were so forceful, they're like, no, we've got to have the baby. It's super important.
It's got to have a point.
It's not just for this game, it's for a future game. There's a reason they needed this descendant to be there, and it's obviously for the game they want to have in Rome. And it makes so much sense, and it lines up with the Legion rumor as well, because they want this super powered character as well. Like, they want to have that same gameplay. They want to copy and paste it the same as they did with, like, you know, Black Flag to Rogue sort of thing. It's going to be like an Odyssey to Legion. It's going to be the same, but in Rome with different characters.
And the same way I feel like the leak we got from Steven, like the Revelation Death stuff where they made you memory seals or flashbacks to Bayek just to make, oh, you want a Bayek sequel? We'll give you like a Bayek-esque sequel. Like, that makes sense. And I'm telling you, and this is when I say I'm telling you, I mean to the people listening to this, that there's going to be lots of fake leaks coming out in the next 2 years. The same way there were lots of Empire fake leaks about there being an Egypt game, but it was a fake leak and the information was wrong. The same way, yes, there's fake Legion leaks already, but none of them were created before the information that we got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was no Legion leaks until we told our story on the podcast. That says a lot to me.
I'm sure there was a mention, right, of there was I do believe someone in the Discord mentioned that the Assassin's Creed Legion had become like a little bit of a running joke in the subreddit.
Meme, yeah, it become like a running meme, yeah.
From when though? That's what I want to know.
I think it's quite an old-ish one. Like not old in terms of it dates all the way back to like, you know, the Ezio trilogy, but like I think that it's not like come up in the past like month or two. I think it's like a couple years.
Well, fair
maybe.
enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. It'll provide the perfect cover for that sort of codename. So even if it did leak, who's going to believe that? Anyone savvy on the Reddit would tell it's a like an in-joke and go, nah.
Yeah.
And be like, nah, it actually fits though, so let's fuck it, yes.
I think it's very possible though. I remember when that Origins leak came out and everyone was saying like, oh, the name of the game's actually Origins. I remember all of us were like shutting it down and being like, nah, that's not a thing. But it was. I mean,
it made sense. I don't remember shutting it down per se as much as going, I prefer Empire.
Yeah, I think it was just this sounds silly. Like it was I don't know if I want this to be real.
But it made sense.
Because there were so many fake leaks as well coming out around that time. I remember so fucking many for Empire. So
I just find it funny
weird.
how they fit the word Empire into the trailer for Origins that was at E3. They fit the word Empire in there.
They did.
I feel as if that was there for a reason.
I like to think it was there on purpose.
Yeah, I like to think that they used the word Empire just to go, you've known about this for longer than you should have.
God, I miss those days. Those were great days. The Empire Origins days. That was fucking great fun. We had a blast.
Oh, that was. Yeah, I do prefer the quality of content that I make now, though.
So, same. But I do miss it. I miss it though.
I agree.
A lot of fun. There's a lot of fun.
I miss being able to upload shit on the internet and still get viewers. Although I do that now. Except it's actually entertaining shit. Some people do tell me. I disagree. Like
so do I. No, I'm just kidding.
The amount of times I've like recorded like a stupid me fucking about montage thing, and I've just sat through the entire thing in deadly silence, just not enjoying what I've been saying, and then uploading it, and people have been like, "This is funny actually," and I'm like, "Oh, okay then, I guess I still have it." And then there are the odd times.
Spider snake retard test. That's your retard test.
Yeah, and then there's the odd time where I'll do something really stupid. For example, something that I've found quite funny recently is impromptu death metal when attacking people for no reason in games. So just out of nowhere, just death metal hits and you're just punching the shit out of people. I've been doing it in my Hitman videos. And that made me laugh the first time I did that. I was like, actually, this will be quite entertaining to watch. But yeah, back to the topic. Fucking hell, Assassin's Creed Legion. Is it real?
Look, I guess I want to ask you guys. Like, I think the information we got from Steven is legitimate, 100% legitimate in the sense of that's what he has heard. There's a lot of truth to it. It might not be 100% right, but there's a lot of truth to it.
I think.
And then there's fake leaks that have come from it that are totally fake, that have just been made up based on the real information we've gotten. That's what I believe. Are you guys on the same page, or do you think
I believe
we're not getting the truth?
I believe the source that we have, Stephen, is telling the truth based on what he's heard, like you said. But it is Chinese whispers, as I think James described it before once. So we do have to take it all with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
But
I think it's very
when it comes to it, I reckon there's a high chance that it might not be called Assassin's Creed Legion.
No, it's definitely not. The same way Empire is not called Empire.
It will be.
It's a code name.
But it'll probably be Rome because that's the quickest turnaround I can see.
Easily.
And
it's Rome. I promise you, it's the same way I told you before. It was. We all said it was Egypt for 2 years.
What if
before
that's
it was
called
Egypt.
Assassin's Creed Empire?
Yeah, it could be, but all I'm saying is I'm saying I bet I promised all of you it would be Empire and it'll be Egypt. You guys agreed. I said, even in spite of the fact that some of you doubted it, I told you all 100% that last year the next game would be Greece. I said it would be Greece from the fucking start. Even though some of you doubted it, I promised you all it would be Greece and it was fucking Greece. I promise you. The next game is Ancient Rome. I'm telling you right now.
The Tynamite has spoken.
That's it.
The great sacred.
It's confirmed.
The relic, the man, the myth.
I'm wondering why they've had this year gap. Is it because they want to take feedback directly from Odyssey and tailor to that, or what? Because it seems to me having or is it more for Ash's game than it is for this Sophia game, do you think?
Well, I think it's just the development time for Sophia's game, because I think they're not as fussed. Because look at Far Cry. Far Cry outsold Odyssey. They aren't as desperate for Assassin's Creed every single year. They said Odyssey came out because they were ready for it to come out this year. I'm not 100% in that ballpark as much as it was ready enough to come out when it came out. But I don't think this next Ancient Rome game is ready as much as it will be in the end of 2020. Like, I feel like it didn't start development.
Last-minute decision? Do you think this wasn't a planned release? Do you think they were like?
I think it was a planned release, but not until after Origins. I think it was like.
I think Odyssey was planned more or less before Origins was launched. They're like, right, we're releasing
Odyssey
next
was,
year.
but I'm talking about Legion.
Legion.
I think Legion was
planned
more like a rogue to
after
me.
Origins, not
More
Odyssey.
like a rogue.
I feel like it's more like a Brotherhood of Revelations, in the sense of they finished Assassin's Creed 2. A team made Assassin's Creed 3 for the years after, but there was a small team making these other games, Brotherhood of Revelations. Obviously, it's not going to be the level or as good or even remotely in the same ballpark as Brotherhood of Revelations. I just mean I get what you're saying. You don't understand what I mean. Like,
that's
I feel like
Rogue,
after Origins and Curse of the Pharaohs, they were making this Legion game, and they were going to have a team make a third Ancients game while Ash's team made the other one. But Odyssey was already planned pre-Origins, but after Origins, the development of Legion started. It'll be a 3-year development cycle for Legion. They're using the same assets of Odyssey and Origins, and it won't be a massive leap forward. We're going to wait for the next-gen game that'll be on only next-gen, which will be Ash's game, which I believe, even though I said a couple of years ago, I thought it would be East Asia, feudal Japan, that's the setting people are waiting for, that's what people want. As much as I think that's probably the right move for the next era, I don't think they will, for whatever reason. Don't ask me why. I think it's going to be Vikings. I actually do believe Vikings.
I'd like Vikings over Japan, and then afterwards they can go there. You see, the thing is with Rome, right? There was actually a hint to it saying Curse of the Pharaohs. It didn't necessarily say Rome, but it did say follow up at some point after the events of Origins, not too far into the future. So if do you know the character in the Curse of the Pharaohs DLC, Sutek was his name?
Yeah, guy that died.
Well, he didn't die in the story, but you can find his
Apple
body.
Of Eden.
Yeah.
The guy that got the Apple of Eden at the
in
end.
the Apple of Eden, you can find his body at a snake's den. Now, a snake is symbolic of the Order of Ancients, and the piece of Eden is missing, and that was cool. Obviously, you know about it, both of you probably.
Because we all thought at the time, like, oh, Bayek sequel, perfect.
And I was like, what the fuck? And it might not mean Bayek sequel, and probably doesn't, because Ubisoft
definitely doesn't.
But
I do think Bayek will play a role in this Legion game, but he's not going to be be the character we play as though at all.
No.
But it does mean that the Order of Ancients has a piece of Eden, because we all know that little scene was set up for a reason. It was not there just to be there. It was there because it had a meaning. For example, the snake, the Order of Ancients. So that means the Order has a piece of Eden, and Bayek has sort of pushed them out of Egypt, if you will, which means that they've probably gone to Rome, which is where Amunet is, and as we know, there are struggles with the Order there. So that means that that's where the Order is headed, and if you've got a piece of Eden, where better to keep it than the capital of, say, that Order? So that's where that's gone. So it's sort of hinted in that direction, which makes me think that they can't possibly neglect that now. Whatever the fuck they did with Odyssey, I don't care. They've got to do something with that. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Do you also think that in terms of Bayek, Aya, Cassandra, that the fact that Cassandra will be involved because of the bloodline and the storyline, like protecting the bloodline, like she'll show up because she knows that that's her bloodline.
Yeah.
But she's not going to tell that bloodline, oh, you are my ancestor or something like. You know what I mean? Like it'll be like, but that's why she's there, because she knows you're my descendant.
It won't be subtle, Tyler. It'll be blatantly obvious, and she'll say,
"Oh, you're right. Yeah, sorry. you're right.
Yeah, they'll make it very obvious to completely.
Yeah, because they have to be embarrassing. Yeah,
because
you're right.
They can't.
They'll be good writing to make it subtle.
Oh
yeah.
God!
No, you're right. They'll make it horrible. You're right. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Way too. Like the recent Odyssey DLC. Well, if it did subtle hints to things, it would have been fine. But no, it outright said things. It outright quoted part of the Brotherhood's maxim, but wrong.
That fucking bit, man. I was like, what are you doing?
Oh no, that made
Why did they do that? Because it doesn't serve any purpose.
I had a time, right? Okay. And when that happened, I immediately, like, reflex shouted "fuck off," phlegm fired at my.
I know, I noticed.
I was like, wow.
That was so funny. Oh man, I was just so confused because in my head I was like, what? But why? Like, why did he say that? What purpose does that serve?
He's also a proto Templar, so why would he quote the maxim of a brotherhood that does not exist, unless he believes it himself? And if so, what kind of flip flopping happened here? If the Brotherhood had existed by this point and that maxim had become known to Templars, which it surely did eventually, it could have been an easy mockery or twist of the of that saying to make it seem, well, essentially as an argument. But back then it wouldn't have been, because the Brotherhood didn't exist. So what was the fucking point?
So weird.
And why were the writers of Odyssey and that DLC just so fixated on like referencing everything? Oh, this will be pretty cool. But it makes no fucking sense.
And then they show the pyramids being built in the complete wrong time period.
Nah. Someone came up with the argument that it was to show the passing of time.
That is the worst.
Yeah, but
that makes it worse. That makes it worse because either it was an accident or they purposely showed the pyramids being built in the wrong time period and they knew that it was wrong. It's bad either way, but that's worse because they did it on purpose. So dumb. They could have shown the pyramids being worn away as, you know, with the sun rising and setting. Like, so weird. Such a weird decision. Like, and the thing that I hate as well is going into, if this Legion thing is true and we're playing as a character that's the descendant of both Bayek, Aya, and Cassandra, and this is like the culmination of that. On paper, that's such a cool idea. Like, you do a game with the guy who formed the Brotherhood, and you see his story. Then you do a game with this, you know, someone who has a lot of First Civ DNA, and then this all converges on this character in Rome, where you get to see Byte, you get to see Cassandra, all the story comes together, and that closes off this chapter of Assassin's Creed. That sounds great. If they'd have done it well and had a good writer, it could have been really, really good, and it would have been really satisfying and impactful, the same way Revelations was, the way it brought Desmond, Ezio, and Altair's stories all together and basically closed off a chapter. If you'd have had Darby writing Origins, Odyssey, and then Legion, this could have been a really, really satisfying story. But they didn't do that, and none of it makes sense or lines up, and it's horrible. And it's so bad, and everything is so on the nose.
Remember when we
subtlety.
couldn't wait for the like industrial era to end, and we're like, oh, I can't wait for fucking like no more colonial era. I can't wait for this era just to end. And then this new era, we're like so excited for it, and it started, and it was so beautiful, and it was the best start ever. And then we're like, fuck, I can't wait for this ancient era just to be fucking
thing,
over.
Such a blight. It's such a blight.
And move on.
If Ubisoft intend to do these like these different periods and have these games like clustered together like this, then surely that should be with the same character, because otherwise, what's the fucking point? It's just 3 games that are practically the same thing over and over again. Why can't you just go from one place to another if you care about historical variety over your characters? If you were to go from like Egypt, Greece, and Rome, have the same character, have it in a setting that's fitting for all 3, because that way you can have the development of a character. It will make sense to stay in that period for a prolonged time, and it will make for better storytelling in the long term, because it won't be so history focused as it'll have to go between the histories of 3 different countries. Which means that, well, oh my God, what the fuck am I saying? But what I'm trying to say is, it's a mess. What is the relevance of all of this? Obviously, they can force it in with DLCs, but who the fuck in their right mind is going to play that DLC after seeing the reviews for it? Because I can't find somebody who likes it, barring Claudio, but, you know, he blocked me on Twitter, so I don't actually know. He might hate it as well.
He blocked you onto the holy shit.
Oh, yeah, nah, this is a story, okay? So, Claudio's I mean, for all his Ubisoft... He's not exactly confrontational fella. Actually, yes, he is. He's just a very passive confrontational. But I'm not going to slander him or anything, but essentially, I saw him and Dylan or Turl basically having a conversation on Twitter, and obviously... Claudio was fighting Ubisoft's corner, and obviously I'd had enough of this. This is like the 5th time I'd seen him in the past hour on someone's thread, and I just responded to his tweet on Dylan's thread with, "I long for the day where I don't see you white knighting Ubisoft's dumb decision making in my feed," and they blocked me immediately. and it was the most satisfying block I've ever experienced.
Yeah,
Not because I
that's
have
so
anything
good.
That's
against
great
him,
stuff.
but because I'll never see him white knighting Ubisoft's dumb decision making ever again.
Yeah.
He blocked me.
Even
while back,
Ubisoft,
but there you go.
even Ubisoft, like don't defend themselves as much as that dumbass defends them. It's
He
hilarious.
does it in
Wow.
such a passive-aggressive way as well. With everyone he goes against, it's
Guys,
so
I'm
arrogant.
better than you.
It's so
Hey guys,
aggressive.
I'm better than you, and Ubisoft are the best. And if you think they're not, well, you're just dumb. That's all it is. You're just an idiot. That's pretty much what
I don't think
he
he's
says.
ever. I don't think he's ever outright stated that, but he has tried to.
No, he's never said
belittle
it.
people's
But
points
that's
of
what
view.
he's saying. But that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
He
Some-
belittles what you're
some more-
saying in the dumbest way because he's a.
And he does little
Dumbass.
winky emojis like, I'm right, aren't I? You know I'm right. No, you're not, though, are you? You're just an idiot.
Imagine saying the dumbest thing you've ever
Right,
said,
subjective.
and then talking to someone else like they're dumb, and then winking at the end. That's him.
Oh, the only tweet that I care to remember from Claudio is ha 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 deep breath.
Yeah, that was funny. What a good
That was
shit.
my
Anyway,
favourite.
I'm done talking about Claudio.
Yeah, no.
I was gonna say, with regards to this whole where they're doing different eras, they did obviously we had the Kenway saga, which was a fucking shambles because halfway through we started playing as Arno and it had nothing to do with the Kenways. And then you have
and
Jacob
then
and Evie.
like it connected based on like a Kenway thing that had Shay, but then it never
They didn't
resolved
do
how they
anything with it.
connected what
That
else.
was the strangest decision because it would have made
Yeah.
so much sense because Connor has connection to Shay. Arno has connection to Shay. Why wasn't Shay the antagonist and why didn't Connor show up in Unity? Why was that
Yeah,
not a thing?
Why didn't they finish that up? Why
So
wasn't there a
weird.
conclusion?
So
to that?
weird because that could have been good. That could have been satisfying. Having the
Shay
Kenway
was the
sort
main
of story
villain of
finished off.
Arno's storyline, or yeah.
Yeah, Connor makes a cameo. He shows up as well because he's got stakes in this as well with the box because Shay caused a lot of shit in the colonies and everything. That would have made a lot of sense, but they didn't do any of that. Shay just vanishes and Arno tracks down Jamat. Like it's so weird. That was fucked. And then you start playing as Jacob and Evie, and it's like, what is any of this? Why did you do this? Fucking weird decisions. And that's the Kenway saga. And obviously the best way that they did it was with the first saga they did with Altair and Ezio, where you play as Altair in the first game, and then you move on to another character with Ezio, and then you have the story with Ezio, and then it comes back around to Altair having huge importance in Revelations, and that tying in with Ezio and Desmond, and then closing off that arc, and that was done so well. And it's almost like they've tried to do that again, but they've done whatever they did with Odyssey and Origins, it's very strange.
Now, while thinking about this, back to what I was saying about the whole Sutex setup thing. As much as I believe Tyler when he says that the next game will be in Rome, I would 100% not be surprised if they just didn't develop on that at all, because they have a track record for setting things up and then not concluding them, and concluding things that you didn't even know needed concluding, and there's no satisfaction, there's no coherence, and it's just a fucking mess.
Yeah, to be
I agree
fair,
with that 100%. I agree with that 100%.
What if this
It's
game doesn't conclude anything? You're just playing as a descendant of Cassandra and Aya, but nothing comes of it. Like, it doesn't actually go anywhere.
That's a more than 80% chance that happens.
It's
I'd
probably
say,
will
I'd
happen.
argue more than 80%. Yeah,
And everyone will be
yeah.
so hyped because there's really cheap shit fan service. And everyone will be like, oh, this is epic. This is an Assassin's Creed game. And, oh, fucking hell, I hate this franchise. Is so
I literally hate it so much, but it's our job. I hate it more than I hate anything
I
else
love
in the world.
talking about it, though. I love talking shit about it and how it's
easy
bad.
to
It's
criticize
such good
something, and at
fun.
the same time, more people want to hear you talk about something if you've got something bad to say, even if they're going to leave a hate comment. They're not going to click on a video where you're sucking its cock, are they?
No, because that's
Even
what
if
they
it's
want to hear.
obvious.
They're like,
Like,
oh, I
I've
need to
noticed
click that
this.
because I agree with
I've
that.
noticed this. If I'm being positive about something,
And they just
I won't
suck
get
its cock
nearly
with
as
no
many-
critical thinking, and the top rated comment is, I just love that you've actually been a unbiased reviewer, and unlike the Four Pillars.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up, you absolute dumbass.
I feel as if
man.
in those moments you need to just simply define bias to them so that they understand that a review is an opinion.
They don't
and
understand.
Opinion
They don't understand bias
possesses a
because they're
certain polarization.
retarded.
No.
They're
Which is also an
retarded
amplifier.
and probably watch Shoraptor videos. You
Yeah,
know what I
they're
mean?
Yeah, I'm
so
not
dumb
going anything
because
against Europe at this point.
They're like, oh, I'm unbiased because I'm right, and this person agrees with me, so they're also unbiased. But if you disagree with me, you must have a bias.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
It's not-
so do you. So does everyone.
When it comes to viewers telling me that, I'm not too asked. when it comes to Ubisoft Quebec employees telling me
Oh yeah.
now, okay, what do you mean my opinion is biased?
That was so funny.
I was very lenient in that review. I gave it a 7. I was like, this is a mediocre game. 7 is mediocre to me. Anything below that is like 6, 7 mediocre in my mind. It just doesn't really say anything. Like 5 is where it goes. I'd say that's slap bang on. What's the word? If mediocre is 6 and 7, 5 is where it's just this is wank essentially.
Yeah, not very good.
Because down there it's like it's missing more than it's hitting. So that's my logic there. So yeah, I was being very lenient to Odyssey in that, and I was being like, this needs improving, this is how. Ubisoft Quebec employee, I didn't know at the time, I tweeted it first, being like, how am I biased? And then someone said, oh, this guy's got the name of a Ubisoft Quebec employee, how fucking convenient. It's not like a common name either. I was like, this is probably the same guy. And if it's not, then I will probably die now. 100% was.
It's likely that it was, yeah. It's likely that it was. It's not like someone's... Because when you get those ones that's like Alex Amancio, you're like, well, it's not actually Alex Amancio, is it? It's just someone saying that. But like when it's those really specific names of like someone that was just coding a bit of the game, it's like... It's probably them.
You seem to have a very biased opinion.
You got a lot of baggage.
And that makes your opinion less valid. And I was like, what? So you're basically telling me that I'm biased... less valid, and the words they used were too much baggage. And what at this point, 11 years experience hands-on with this franchise, and you call it baggage? I call it fucking experience. I know what I'm talking about. I've probably been playing these games longer than you've actually been working at fucking Ubisoft. So,
well, 100%. First of all, longer than they've even heard of Assassin's Creed, let alone been working on Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, so
these people don't know dick about this franchise.
It's fucking bullshit to say you've got too much baggage. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? So because I'm invested in a franchise, it's my fault. It's my fault for being invested in this thing. It's not your fault for getting it wrong.
I just took that as I promise you I'll never be invested in the Quebec project ever again. I might buy it, I might play it, but I'll never give a shit about it.
Well, I'll never buy it. You'll hand it to me for free.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, usually they will.
Quebec have absolutely handled everything they did with Odyssey very poorly. Not just making the game, but their community interactions and everything.
See, Quebec's like a bad sell when it comes to Ubisoft. The rest of Ubisoft is mostly okay, right? They've got the PR that who I talked to was quite helpful. Is quite helpful actually. When I got a code for Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered the other day, it didn't work. So I asked them, "Is there a chance that you send that to another person? And if so, could you possibly help me out here?" And they said, "Just send me another code immediately," and it was sorted just like that. So very helpful there. At the same time, they've got other studios that definitely put their back out on these games. And there's just Quebec that are on a project that they don't want to work on. I feel as if that's it. They have some form of passion, but I just don't think it's passion for what they're being forced to make.
Yeah, that's definitely the case.
There's passion there, it's just not for Assassin's Creed. So I think it's unfair on Quebec that Ubisoft are forcing them to do this, because it looks like they're being forced to do it. And if they're choosing to do this, then why the fuck are you fucking it? You know?
Yeah, it's so weird. Quebec are the strangest studio, and it's such night and day between Quebec and Montreal. Like the experience we had with Montreal with Origins is just completely different to with Quebec and Odyssey. It's just entirely different, not just in quality of game, but in every aspect of dealing with them. Like it's just insanely different.
Yeah, I do kind of get it. If I didn't have a passion for a certain franchise that I was forced to work on, I'd probably just quit. But you know, I'd be like, right. I mean, I get that it brings in the money, doesn't it? So you wouldn't, would you? But it's not going to be a pleasant experience going in, and as a result, it's not going to feel like you've put in your all at the end. And that's the kind of experience that I think Quebec had. So I do feel for him in a way, if that's the case. If not, then what the fuck are they doing? But if it is, I mean, I'm going to be harsh in the review because I'm just being brutally honest. It looks like there's passion in Odyssey, but it's just not passion for what the game is supposed to be. The game doesn't know what it wants to be because the developers don't know what they want the game to be, because they don't want to be making a game in that franchise. So it's very easy to just say this is a problem that doesn't necessarily just involve Quebec. Quebec is part of it. They've not handled the response to it very well. and at the same time they've not made the most amazing game ever that some people are making it out to be. I don't understand that, but that's their right. If they want to say it's an amazing game, they can say that. I've got nothing against it. But when I look at it, I think this is just a see-through issue that goes all the way up to the top. They've been delegated to make this game, even though they probably pitched an idea that was similar but that was with more freedoms, i.e. not being restricted to Assassin's Creed. And they've been like, that'll be a great Assassin's Creed idea. It's like, wait, no, Assassin's Creed, massive stamp on their forehead, fuck. That's the sort of thing that I saw there. I just don't see it as being, they didn't pitch the idea for Odyssey as an Assassin's Creed game. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but also on top of that, is like, they might have passion for it, but also they're really also bad at it as well. Like, the writing isn't very good, and the whole concept of, even if they wanted to make an RPG, it wouldn't be a good RPG either. Like, it's not actually a good game.
You see, when it came to, I think a lot of it could be down to the fact that they were making an Assassin's Creed game, and they knew that it would just be another cash cow, like thing, and it wouldn't be a standalone. It wouldn't be a game that would have to make its name. It would be in a franchise that had already made so. So putting in more effort would just be extra man hours for no point,
though.
For no fucking reason, because they're in this franchise that they don't care about. So why would you put in more than what's asked?
True.
What
it's still bad.
I wouldn't. I understand why they wouldn't. So I think it's still bad because of that. But if they were given the rights to have free reign over their own project, then there is a chance that there could have been drastic improvements. The voice acting probably still would have been shit, but I don't see how that's anything to do with the developers, really. There's just a huge confusion. The writing still could have been shit, but the game could have been a lot more liberal in what it wanted to be. It could have been a bit more decisive in that matter, and it could have just been made for a better game overall, if only marginally.
Potentially, but
it's all potential because it's not happened.
Yeah.
We're in a reality where what they've had to make was Assassin's Creed, and their like disconnection from their passion sort of shows. I'm not saying they don't have passion. I'm saying they're disconnected from it because they're not doing what they necessarily would want to do. It's just blatantly obvious that that's the case. And on that note, I do feel for them a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. Oh god, fucking hell, Assassin's
It's such
Creed.
A headache.
Yeah, let's how about this? Let's move on from Assassin's Creed.
Ooh,
completely.
Thank you.
So news has come out in the past week that the next Star Wars movies that are being developed and that are coming out after this Skywalker saga wraps up, with Episode 9 coming out December this year, directed by J.J. Abrams, is Benioff and Weiss, the creators and writers of the Game of Thrones TV show, are developing a Star Wars Old Republic trilogy.
Fuck yes.
That's rumors coming out. I put in the Skype chat an article.
I saw that. I saw the rumors. I was like,
there was
yes,
written.
please.
So it's from a very reliable source. StarWarsNet.com. Very, very, very reliable. Like 90%. What they say, they know their inside sources.
Okay, I'm gonna say one thing. I'm gonna say one thing. One word. And if you don't say yes, I'm gonna be very sad boy. Right? Okay, Revan.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean,
fucking Revan. That's 2 words.
You'd hope so.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves, because I'll ask you. I'll read the article and then I'll ask you some question about this.
Okay, cool.
So this is from StarWarsNet.com. Their article. So they said, a contact who has worked on every Disney Star Wars film has shared some interesting information. According to them, the next Star Wars film could possibly begin filming this fall, and it will be the first film in the series of films by Game of Thrones showrunners David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. I'm trying to get some confirmation on this information from other sources, from other places, I should say. But as of now, I only have one source, so I can only report this as a rumor. So use your pinches of cinnamon as you wish. Because of that simple fact, I can't say I am as confident in this as I am about the Obi-Wan Kenobi streaming service series report. Though the source provided proof they have worked on every Star Wars film since Disney's acquisition of Lucasfilm, and claimed they are 95% confident this is accurate. So let's simply go over what we were told. Our source told us that they were, quote, approached about working on the next movie this autumn. It is not the Rian Johnson trilogy. It is the Game of Thrones guys' first movie, and it is set during the Old Republic, as Disney wants to open up the Star Wars timeline and appeal to more Game of Thrones style audiences, end quote.
Ooh.
So the article goes on to say, this really seems so on the nose in terms of what fans have been wishing for from these guys. So I asked for clarity on what else he has heard about the project. Quote, so the timeline is hundreds of years prior to the Skywalkers. So think almost Star Wars meets Lord of the Rings, end quote. The article goes on to say, I ask if there were any grasp on something tangible happening for the production yet, or if it was all strictly talks discussion based. And according to our source, the art departments are doing pre-production works as we speak. Quote, filming starts in the fall and art departments are in design phases now as the script is being finalized. That is all I know, but I'm 95% confident that this is accurate, end quote. So that's from John Hoey, who writes with Star Wars.com and also reported on the Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus or whatever it's called series being done.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, there's one thing about this, right? That the Game of Thrones style, I feel as if that would suit one thing. It's going to be one word, and if you don't say yes, I'm going to be disappointed.
Here we go.
Revan.
See, that would be fun. I feel like you can't go to the Old Republic and not do something with Revan. I feel like...
But at the same time, Revan's story, when you pay attention to the minute details, it sort of suits that sort of more gritty nature of greys and moral ambiguity that the Game of Thrones sort of emphasizes, and that's a style that's executed very well. So if they didn't do something similar with Star Wars and add the twist of that to it, they'd probably be wasting their talents, because we all know how good Game of Thrones is, and there doesn't necessarily have to be the exact same thing with Star Wars. There are different things that can be done, but I feel as if Revan is the perfect story to tell, and at the same time, we know that they want to make Revan canon, or recanonize him anyway, and they just haven't managed to yet. No, so this would be the perfect opportunity to do that.
They've recanonized the Mandalorian Wars, right? Like
they've recanonized the Mandalorian Wars, but that could happen in like a plethora of ways. They have recanonized Darth Bane, which means there is some Old Republic that's been recanonized, but Revan has never been mentioned by name.
No, he was meant to be in Clone Wars, right? He was meant to appear in Clone Wars.
He was meant to appear, but since he didn't, he's not in canon material.
Yeah. So you could, but that's evidence that I think they would want to bring Revan back.
That's evidence that he is canon. They've just not confirmed it yet. Yeah, and at the same time, Revan is such a massive, impactful character in the Old Republic timeline that I feel as if it would be a mistake not to mention him at some point.
Yeah,
furthermore, there's another character that needs a little bit of mention, and that will be Nihilus, I think. Though they'd have to find a way to sort him out, like proper, like make it actually film worthy. But Nihilus is a really interesting, like, Star Wars character. It's like, well, this guy is just pure energy.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have a body, he doesn't have a physical form. He's just pure energy in a robe. He's like a Hogwarts rapist. He's just doing his bit.
A Hogwarts rapist.
Well, I completely overlooked that.
Yeah, you did. You really just tried to go past that. I'm like, what are you saying?
Yeah, there's plenty of things they could do when looking towards the Old Republic, and I've wanted them to go down this route for a really long time, and I think there's nothing more perfect than the Game of Thrones writers working on a more sort of dark toned Star Wars, trilogy set in this period, and I think you've got to bring Revan in. In some shape or form. I don't
think he'd have to be the main character, because Revan's not really got a set moral path. Like, Revan's always flip-flopping between the dark and the light, because
would
he's
you
always
retell? Would they go down the Knights of the Old Republic route, or do you think they'll completely reinvent it and just?
They'd reinvent it in a way that doesn't necessarily affect the outcomes of things, but I don't think they'd flip-flop quite as much. But at the same time, I feel as if Revan would be. There'd be another character there as well.
Yeah.
Like, there'll be another character that sort of anchors it to a certain moral.
Yeah, I feel that they'll try and do their own story, but I feel they'll be like, we need Revan though. Like, everything else we can be our own thing, but if there's one thing from Legends, we've got to bring in Revan and to make him major here.
Revan is key. They've got to
that'd be
get. They've
brilliant.
Now,
got.
can I? But it also depends on the timeline of everything. Can I ask this?
It's about 1,000 years before.
I
isn't
have a suspicion. I have a suspicion that this won't just be Old Republic from what we've seen in past expanded universe. I think it's possible that this storyline is the origins of the Jedi and the Sith.
That would be like thousands and thousands
That'd
of
be
years
tough
before.
because that wouldn't just be Old Republic. That'd be like
Yes.
That'd
not
be
even Old
elderly
Republic.
Republic.
That'd be nothing.
as
Like not
for-
even Republic.
In terms of in terms of expanded universe, yes, but not in terms of making movies.
What do you mean?
It's not.
Well, like
necessarily-
you guys are talking about uncanon shit right now.
Yeah, I know,
Legends,
but
right?
are they going to really
It's
make
not
it?
canon.
But you
That's what I'm
can't. You
telling
can't
you.
go. We're gonna
Yeah,
do Old
he's got a
Republic, but
point.
we're doing
But
something that's
you
not what you want at all.
But you can. That's I'm
You
not,
want
I'm not
to
saying it's
know.
what I want. I'm just saying, but you can.
They could.
They definitely can, but will they? That is the
I
question.
feel like
I think it'll be
people
the origins
love-
of the Jedi and the Sith. I really do think that.
I don't think they will. I don't think they will. I think people love Old Republic so much that if you're gonna do it, you've got to do it right.
The
You
way
can't.
that it was.
You can't go. Let's just fuck this off and do something else, because then it's not the Old Republic.
I feel as if another possibility is with the Old Republic. It's such a massive sort of period that
It
the
is.
3 films that they do, because it's a trilogy, right? They could
Mhm.
just be different stories across
Could be.
different times that are linked together that sort of set up these key events, if you will. I don't think it'll be anything like too heavily focused on one thing or another, like for example the Rule of Two or anything like that. I feel as if it'll just be. It could very well be 3 separate films about 3 separate things, telling 3 different stories
Yeah.
that link
to
together to what's
recanonize
going
things
on in
as
this
well.
in anything. Just to basically that. Just to sort
Flesh
out
it out.
kind
Be like, let's just set these 3 movies at 3 sort of at 3 different points in the Old Republic, so that we can tell a really good story, but also it recanonizes a bunch of things to add into the extended universe. Then, because they can bring back things like Revan and plenty of other things in there as well that they've tried to do with Rebels and Clone Wars as well, by them mentioning things. But if they really set some movies in the Old Republic, they've got so much to play around with then in terms of games and novels and comics and all of that stuff. But I mean, I don't know. Whether they go back and do the origin of the Jedi, I don't know. That's a very specific thing to do as well. How was that again? Did they ever do that properly in Legends?
They did. I think it was. They did do it. I just don't remember how they did it. They didn't necessarily do an origin of the Jedi. It's just how the Jedi Order came to be, if you will. It wasn't an origin story, just a historical mind map. I think it was.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of
Something like
development
that.
to the Jedi. It was a huge development process in which they didn't even use lightsabers for a long time. They had other weapons.
Yeah, I remember all that. I remember it because the Sith was originally like a race, wasn't it? It was like a different planet.
Like they were called the Sith. Well, didn't there was Sith something?
Yeah, there was a different name. Yeah,
Sithari.
I don't
wanna say?
remember. I don't remember.
I'm gonna say that. I'm
properly.
gonna say that, and it's probably gonna be from something else entirely, like a porn or
Sounds
something.
like Chitauri, like from the MCU, but I don't think could have been something that was floating around in your head.
No, that definitely wasn't.
Um,
But I mean, we'll just have to wait and see on that one. If the rumors are true, we'll find out soon enough. And when it comes to it, it'll just be a good time, won't it? I mean, it'll be like Old Republic. What are they doing? Oh, this could be interesting. I mean, no matter what it is, it'll be interesting because it's the Old Republic, and that is such there is no one thing happening in the Old Republic wouldn't necessarily mean that something else couldn't have been happening. For example, Revan could still happen even if it's not in those films. There could be like a mention, an Easter egg or something. You could just see a guy with a purple lightsaber and a Mandalorian helmet in the background of something. Or was it a blue lightsaber? Depends. Revan was usually symbolized with a purple lightsaber, though I think he only ever used blue as a Jedi, but who cares? It was a pretty sick time. I'm sure they'll do. I'm sure of all people who will do it justice, is it the Game of Thrones writers? Is that right?
Yeah.
And showrunners. They've run the whole series.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I'm sure they do it justice for that. But at the same
As much
time,
as people give Benioff and Weiss shit, I love them. I think they're tremendous showrunners. I think they're tremendous writers. I have full faith in them.
I think to me the thing is right with that, because I mean, for the best parts of Game of Thrones, what they're really doing, and I think this could apply, is they're really cherry picking. They're obviously doing a great job. Some of the changes they made, like people don't give them enough credit for the earlier seasons. They invented some things of their own that weren't in the books of Song of Ice and Fire that are just brilliant in the show, brilliant, and that's their ideas. I mean, for the most part as well, obviously they're cherry picking bits from the books. But that's also something they could do with Star Wars. They could look at Legends, they could cherry pick the best parts, but then invent their own things to add on to that as well, combine it together, and I think they're really good at doing that. And I think that people do give them a lot of shit, and I mean, I'm sometimes one of those people, but there's amazing things they have done that have been their own ideas. They're not just restructuring George R.R. Martin's work. They're doing a lot of stuff that's from their own heads. And so I think that could apply well to an Old Republic story.
Yeah, I don't see them going from like blank slate. I think they're going to use what is in Legends as I'm not going to use the word canvas per se. I'm going to use the word like a springboard. They're going to use it as a springboard and go into it from there.
Yeah.
They're going to not look at it necessarily as everything there is canon. They're going to look at it and go, let's start here and let's weave this into our own story and make it sick. And that'll be what will happen. Yeah. Whether it turns out to be any good is another question. But that is the style that they choose, and I reckon that's the style that they're going to go for with this. I think that's the style that they did. I think that's what they would have been asked to do as well, because I don't see anyone right-minded going, just do something set way before the rest of the Star Wars shit. Yeah, enjoy. No, they would have been instructed. This is what we want you to do. Want you to take a look at the Legends, and we want you to sort of go from there. You know.
Yeah, because there's a lot of good shit in Legends. There's a lot of really dumb shit as well, but there's a lot of good shit in Legends.
There is some dumb shit in Legends. Ewok Jedi.
Yeah, good. Yeah, they decanonized it for a reason, but there's a lot of stuff that would be good to bring back. So I look forward to seeing what they do.
Really fucked. What else was there? There was something else that was stupid. There's something else that was really stupid.
Chewbacca was killed by a moon. Was one of the things that happened.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to remember.
Let's just ignore that whole thing and just know that
let's bring that back into canon.
Benioff and Weiss will do a good job. I have full faith in them, and the fact that they get to run the whole trilogy. It's not going to be like the current Skywalker sequel trilogy where they have different directors making different movies, making their own decisions. They've got the one showrunners that when they make the first movie, they have a plan for the second and then the finish of the third movie. Benioff and Weiss know, we've seen from Game of Thrones, whether you like it or not, they know how to plan the beginning, middle, and end of anything. They are great writers, great showrunners, and I have full faith that if you give them a trilogy, they're not just going to give us one good movie. They're going to give us 3 fantastic movies that have a great beginning, middle, and end, and that fit together very nicely. Whether you like it or not, they will be things that fit together.
Yeah, and they care about what they're doing as well, which is important. I think they care about any project they work on, and I think they understand what things mean to fans. So I don't think they're going to be like a, I mean, some people love him, Rian Johnson. I think he's obviously a Star Wars fan, but a lot of people, I think that the Game of Thrones showrunners, I think they understand maybe the same way JJ did. I
think also,
things properly.
I agree.
I think also being able to take a step back from something and step away from being a fan is also kind of crucial when you're working on it. Like, being a fan's great and all, you can keep doing that, but at the same time, you've got to become impartial to what's going on when you're on like there. You got to start to understand that there's some things you can't do, no matter how much you think it would be cool as a fan.
Yeah, good writing should come first.
Good writing is always paramount. It is always the priority is to make this good. It's not to make this a service to you.
Yeah, and the thing is as well,
Rian Johnson lost sight of.
And in fucking Legends, there's a lot of fan fiction-y stuff, which is obviously another reason why it was decanonized. That people went a bit fucking mental with shit. They're like, this will be fucking epic. It's like they just went onto some forum and published it. Like, anyone could get Star Wars shit published.
It was funny as fuck, though, wasn't it? I mean,
absolutely mental.
What was there? Besides from what we mentioned before, there was some really fucked up shit in there.
There was some mental stuff. It was just everything. There was so much. There was the whole that droid with the force powers that
force
knew that he could from A New Hope, the one that malfunctioned. Just actually he had the force, and it was all a bit. Mental.
Did he now? Right. Well, what up? Yeah. Well, it was quite funny, to be honest with you. Even though by that point they'd already set up the whole canon with droids not being able to feel, understand, or sense the Force in any sense of the word. Hence why they never mention it, because as far as they're concerned, it doesn't even exist.
It's mental. It was mental.
Yeah,
but,
there was some funny shit in there. It was hilarious. There is still one thing that's on my mind that I just can't get off. Cock.
But what?
No, that is not what's on my mind. Please, don't take that and the
Sure,
the
it's
old
not. We know what you're thinking, Ethan. You're all about the dick now.
Imagine a cock saber. That's probably something in canon.
Well, it's not just
canon,
something in canon. It's also something that really exists if you go to a sex shop, I'd imagine. There's some sort of Star Wars-based dildo.
Christ. What is that? Is that like a penis handle and a fucking scimitar?
It's like a ballsack handle and then a penis, blade that'll just fucking
as long as it
like an electric toothbrush. It'll burrow through fucking anything.
Brilliant.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Guys, is there any other thoughts on the Old Republic trilogy that's forthcoming from Benioff and Weiss?
I have. Yes, I do. It's one word, and if you don't say yes,
yes, sir. Okay.
Very sad.
What is it?
Revan.
Ah, you got me again. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see it coming that time. Oh man, that was good. Yes.
And also, it better be fucking good. Otherwise, I'm gonna find the people working on it, and I'm gonna say no, and then leave. That'll be it.
Yeah,
that'll be everything.
Yeah,
that's sort of my thoughts. It has to have some call to Revan. That's it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it though. I mean,
yeah, I'd like to find out more. Yeah. I'm just gonna take it as a rumor for now, and when we find out more, I'll be like, yes, Revan.
Yeah, great stuff.
Perfect. Hopefully we hear about a Star Wars Celebration
next
next month.
Maybe we'll hear some stuff. That's going to be exciting for some stuff, some Clone Wars, some games, some, maybe some
Episode 9 trailer, the title reveal at the very least, Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show.
Yeah, come on, let's get some Star Wars shit going.
The title is for Episode 9.
The Force sleeps. No, not
the Force unfucks itself.
Probably anything but that. The Force was just kidding. The Last Jedi isn't a real movie. That's what it's going to be called.
Oh no, stop. Is what it'll be. No, it has to be something.
The second to last Jedi.
Luke's not really dead. I don't know.
It's going to be called something like The New Jedi.
It was all a dream.
Oh no. I think my mind's just gone there.
Attack of the Clones 2.
It's going to be called something
That's the title. Revenge of the Sith / Jedi ? In space?
Oh no. Imagine if they actually call it Revenge of the Jedi, like
Revenge of the Jedi. Oh,
that
sounds too evil.
I know
that was supposed to be the title for episode 6.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
why they changed it.
They could fucking do it.
Yeah, there's like a little callback.
God, no, please, Disney, don't do this.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Might as well call it I might as well just call it Ryan Johnson's big sweaty cum sock.
Oh my god! All right, fucking hell. We've gone for almost 3 hours. Let's fucking wrap this motherfucker up. I'm exhausted.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my
I am as well.
god.
It's only
We're getting so deep. Yeah.
I'm gonna get back on a video myself.
Yeah,
you need to sleep, Ethan. Hey, Ethan, you need to fucking sleep, bro.
I'll sleep at night, so I'll fix my sleep schedule.
Sure you will for a day, but yeah, cool.
For a day is better than no days.
True, you're right. You're right.
I'll do it that way. I've got.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm up now.
Totally right.
Might as well stay that way.
Yeah, fair enough.
Until I can.
James, wrap this.
All right. Thanks everybody so much for listening to this episode of Kill Connor Club. I really appreciate everybody stopping by. If you're listening on other platforms other than YouTube, if you're listening on YouTube, drop us a like. If you're listening on other platforms, rate us, follow us, all that stuff on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, whatever you can do on there. Do leave positive feedback so it helps us out. And if you're looking for more content from us, if you haven't already, go and check out patreon.com/as always. To thank our Patreon producers, we've got... I don't have it up. Shit. I don't know why I closed it. Hang on.
Wow. It's King Richard III,
there we go.
Josh Devillier, Seth and Ikraik.
I know that. I know that because I do it every time I do a video. But yeah, thank you to our producers, King Richard III, Ikraik, Seth, and Josh Devillier. And if you want to join them and join anyone else, go and check out patreon.com/as always. You get Kill Connor Clubhouse every week. The Kill Connor Club isn't on, as well as Cinema Room a week early. Coming out as soon as we end this episode, coming out over there will be our Cinema Room episode on The Dark Knight, which was a really good chat that we had talking about a brilliant movie. So if you're interested in getting that a week early, along with supporting us, go and check that out for just $1. Patreon.com/as cunt. As always, and yeah, so to thank everybody all at once, we have King Richard III, Ikraik, Seth, Ballsack47, Josh Devillier, Damian, Bill of the Team Tynamite, Captain Robertson, Tman or Travis, Casey Wood, Tony the Tarbiters, Pasty, Denis, Adam Sundling, Alfie Rowsell, Jamie the Gamer, Smexy Dork, Lumistrad, Mario5380, Hook Still Holds Up, Viridian, Pink Flame 313, Aaron Wynn, Ollie the Dane, Fat Fuck Cuck, Nawaf M, Brendan Orbiki Overlord, Rav Jai, Julie, Prudhvi Muvva, Oscar, Benedict Parker Returns, James and Lad, Connor Durose Bully in the Alley, Zahir, Gene, Zeke Collins, Son of a Bitch Ogeaidogo, Lauren, Dammit Glenn, Furious Coco, the XCMJS, Delta R. Rodriguez, Kyle, S. Jaws, Kyle Marvel, Marcus Blackburn, Emil Catborg, Joshua Mora, David Bindis, Ginkgo Swag, Kimo Sabe Gamer, Yazin, Joe the Sex Boy Smith, Elstico91, Joe aka Founded Scarab, HBots12 I Got Lumbago, The Real Jaw Raptor, Omar Karusagi, Alfie Robert, Brian Ford Shields, our very own Ethan or Fizhy, Andrew Martinez, and Lewis the Gamer McLean. Thank you all so much for your continued support and for making that list longer and longer every time we fucking read it out. If you want to join, you can. For just $5 or more, you can get on that list. But for just $1 or more, you can get access to all of the content. Like I said, the Dark Knight spoilercast coming out in like 5 minutes time. I'll drop it straight away. I'll make it public as soon as we wrap things up. So there's that. Thanks again, Ethan, for joining us. It's been a blast.
Thanks, bro. We love you.
We do.
I'm going to go out to one simple word. And if you don't say...
Here we go. Here we fucking go.
If you don't say yes.
Yes. Okay, what is it, Ethan? I have no idea what this is.
I'm very annoyed.
What is it? What is it, Ethan? Tell me. I don't know.
Are you ready? Are you sure you're ready?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe not, but I hope so.
Revan.
Fuck!
You got it. You got it.
You got me again.
Okay. No, I'm done. I'm done.
Okay.
I don't even know where I was going with that, to be honest. I just wanted to say it again.
So, all right, Ethan, thank you again. Shout out again to Brett, who's recovering from surgery right now. Uber Central, we love you, bro. All the love to you, praying for you.
Links
we'll see you in
as well,
5 minutes on Patreon for Cinema Room, or next week publicly for Cinema Room, and next week on Patreon for Kill Connor Clubhouse, where I'll have a special announcement that I'll be doing as well. James doesn't know about this either, but
I know you're gonna make me wait. Oh, for fuck's sake!
Yeah, I'm gonna make you wait. Don't worry, I'm gonna make you wait because it'll be hilarious. But yeah. So can't wait for Clubhouse next week. My secret favorite podcast. It's not a secret. But anyway, James, brother, thank you again. Ethan, cheers, love you.
No worries.
Brett, full recovery. We love you. And to everyone listening, thank you again. We will see you next week for a podcast of some kind because we've got simply too many. So guys, thank you. We'll see you later.
Goodbye.
Farewell, gamers.